Russians and U.S. once again meet in the final match of this 16 tournament, and they are determined history does not repeat itself. Welcome to Gallagher-Iba Arena on the campus of Oklahoma State University for the 1998 World Cup of Wrestling. On a global scale, this ranks right up there with the World Championships and the Olympics. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarron, pleased to be joined by Jim Shear, former Olympian and world silver medalist, and Dan Gable, world and Olympic champion and the most successful NCAA coach of all time as the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Dan, to you first. The Russians were such a dominant team, a dynasty before the breakup of the Soviet Union. They've been a powerhouse since then, but last year they were swept right here in the World Cup. Are they a changed team?
Well, they were a stunned team a year ago, and so they went back. They won the World Championships. They're back here. They're in contention for the team title, but at the same time, you know, they're not as dominant as they have been in the past, and I think we have a good shot against them. But to sweep them, well, that's going to be tough.
It always is. Jim, the U.S. team, you look at the roster from 1 year ago when the U.S. swept the Russians, an entirely new team.
It is. We're 8 new guys, 8 different weight classes. We've got a young team in terms of competitive experience, but we've got a very tough team. I don't think we'll sweep them like we did last year, but I think the U.S. will win at least 5 weights. But we're led by Tom Erickson at heavyweight. Lincoln McIlravy at 68 kilos are both undefeated. And we've got 2 world medalists in Kerry Colott and Les Gutchis who are going as well. And I think those 4 weights will give us a nucleus to maybe win this dual meet.
There are the current team standings as we get ready for this final match of the World Cup. U.S. 4-0, Iran 4-1. They finished their matches. Russia 3-1. And you see Cuba, Germany, and Japan, no contention right now. We begin the 1998 World Cup at 119 pounds. Here is the matchup in the blue uniform for the United States. Sam Henson, he's 3-1 through the World Cup so far, went to Clemson University. He'll be taking on Leonid Chuchanov, third in the Russian Nationals in 1998. And gentlemen, if you could give us a quick rundown on the scoring.
Yeah, freestyle scoring, a little bit different than what the fans might be used to in collegiate scoring, but 1 point for a takedown, taking your opponent to the mat without exposing his back. And there's also 2 other ways to score points on a takedown. You take him from his feet directly to his back, it's a 3-point takedown. Or if you take him with grand amplitude throw, the high arcing throw, you can score 5 points on that takedown. And there's 1 point for an escape, 1 point for a reversal, and 2 points if you expose your opponent's shoulders past 90 degrees to the mat. If you touch his shoulders to the mat, it's 2, and if he just goes hand to hand, it's 1 point.
And you will not be quizzed on that later. We'll keep you up to date as we go.
Get ready to pull that trigger now. Get ready to pull
And there you hear one of the U.S. coaches, Bruce Burnett. Got a microphone on him, and the Russian coach, Yuri Shakhmuradov.
I believe Bruce wants Sammy Henson to get out and be aggressive here and push this guy and maybe tire him out a little bit. This is Henson's first major international competition representing the United States, and he's done well so far.
Dan Gable, you've coached this World Cup team a number of times. How important is the first matchup?
Oh, you always want to get momentum going.
Point for Henson.
Yeah, that first point, you know, that was a key point just from the confidence of the wrestlers in a 5-minute match. Of course, obviously, you got to score 3 points, otherwise it could go as long as 8 minutes.
Absolutely.
But Henson's a former Clemson NCAA champion and out of the state of Missouri.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Dan, those points are so important because in a 5-minute match, you don't want to get down. One point might be okay, but he doesn't want to give up another one here.
There you see Bruce Burnett, one of the USA coaches, against Sam Henson for the United States.
Look for that snatch single to your right.
In the blue. And it's Russia with 1 point lead, Leonid Chuchanov.
Sam's working real hard to try and get past that first line of defense and clear the tie-ups, but he hasn't been able to effectively clear his wrists to be able to penetrate a shot. So he's going to try and work on the guy a little bit more, pound his head, get him tired.
Sam's a real physical style of wrestler. He is very good on tie-ups, very good on working the head.
Shakhmuradov, Russian coach.
Concentrate.
Shakhmuradov goes back a long time. He wrestled in 1970 World Championships in Edmonton, Canada. I believe he was in the finals there. And he was their national coach for several years before going into some other countries. And now he's back again as one of the key coaches. And people in Russia wrestling.
Yeah, he was a national coach during really their glory years of the Soviet Union's dynasty in world wrestling, and I think they brought him back to try and recapture some of that for the Russian team.
We'll return to Gallagher-Iba Arena in just a moment to finish up this match. This is ESPN. 19-pound category, Sam Henson in the blue for the United States. Leonid Chuchinov in red for Russia. Right now it's a 1-0 lead for Chuchinov, but now Henson comes up with a point and we're tied at 1.
That's a big point for Sammy at that time in the match. Gives him some momentum. It's a great double leg takedown with an inside trip.
1 5-minute period, and then an overtime period that could last as long as 3 minutes if necessary. It is a 3-point must rule if you are going to win in regulation.
Sam is really physical, and I think he's really started to work on the Russian wrestler and try and get him more down here.
He's kept the Russian off the scoreboard pretty good here in the early part of the match, and I think that's to our advantage. He's starting moving around pretty well.
Yeah, Chuchinov is a very technical wrestler. I think Sammy's strength will play into it as we go down here.
Near the edge of the mat in that red part called the zone, and finally off the mat, and they'll go back to the middle.
Henson had an opportunity to score there. He's close.
Mike MacArthur, another coach for the U.S. team. Interesting that all three of the coaches for the United States, all were coaches here at Oklahoma State University. Joe Say also on their staff.
I've been a few times in this arena, but usually not in this position.
Not in the friendly confines?
Well, I don't know if I'm friendly yet, but it's a different position here, and they let me come in.
Sam is really working on his gut wrench. He's worked a high gut wrench off that leg turn the entire tournament. He's pretty effective with it. I guess we're getting an update from the U.S. team that Tom Erickson injured. I believe he really maybe suffered a concussion in the Japanese match and may not go at heavyweight. So it's really going to play into it, put some pressure on the team to try and get enough wins early in the meet. That would be a big blow to the U.S. team.
Now Henson has a shot on Chuchinov, and he does get the takedown on the 1 point and a 2-1 lead with 36 seconds to go. But now Chuchinov comes up with a potential reversal. 2 points they give him.
That was a key mistake at that point in the match, because now Chuchinov has enough points to win the match. He needed to get 3, so it didn't go to overtime.
What happened there, Dan?
He used a little bit of a flurry action. I think he caught him off guard there. He tried for a reversal, and it worked.
Yeah, Sammy was trying to turn so hard. He was trying to run over the top, and he just got too high and turned himself, basically.
24 seconds to go, and it was actually a 3-point move for Chuchinov. It is a 4-2 lead for the Russian.
Yeah, Chuchinov got an extra point for holding him on his back.
Yeah, that was a big turning point there, because that takedown would have put us in the driver's seat, and now we're at the final seconds of the match, and with a 2-point deficit, we're going to have a tough time here unless we catch him.
Sammy's got to go for a 2-point throw.
He might give up one. He's
going to one, right, exactly. Final seconds.
Got one.
Out of bounds, being mad.
Or 3. Got to put him down.
So with 2 seconds to go, it is a 4-3 Russian lead.
It's 4-3.
They're questioning the score, and he did give him 3 points, Chuchinov on that edge.
Didn't see that extra point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is the final.
Hold him on his back.
The first match goes 4-3 to Leonid Chuchinov of Russia over Sam Henson of the United States to open this 1998 World Cup at 119 pounds.
The coaching staff and Sam was unaware of that extra point.
Sam thought he had tied it up to go into overtime, but neither the coaching staff nor Sam were aware of the 3-point count.
And you hear Bruce Burnett, and there you see Bruce Burnett right now questioning the call, or at least trying to get an explanation, and a disappointing loss for the United States. So even though Sam Henson had a 2-1 lead on the Russian, Chuchinov comes up with a 1-point reversal and a 2-point turn with 32 seconds left in the match, ends up winning 4-3 over the American. We'll be right back to Stillwater, Oklahoma in just a moment.
Bye-bye, kids.
As we continue action in the 1998 World Cup, at 127 pounds, it was the United States' Tony Perler taking on Shamil Umakhonov. Umakhonov had a 1-point takedown at 3:51, and then he got 2 more takedowns to go up 3-0. Late in the match, Perler and Umakhonov 2 points each on a roll through, and it was Shamil Umakhonov defeating the United States' Tony Perler by a final score of 5-2, and that upped the Russian team score lead to 6-2 over the United States. Action now at 138 pounds for the United States in blue. It is Kerry Kolat from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. And for Russia in the red will be Andrei Yakovlev. Kolat 3-1 so far in this World Cup competition. He's a Lock Haven University alumni. Won 2 NCAA titles with Lock Haven.
If Kerry wins this match, he can win the gold medal in the tournament.
Beautiful move. Beautiful move.
2 points, Kerry Kolat.
Gotta watch the knee there.
That flexibility, though, was to his advantage in that first move. And he's doing it again. And he's doing it again. He got 2-point exposure. Actually got a 1-point extra. He's got 5-0.
3
That's
points.
a great sequence for Kolat.
And exactly what the United States needed. United States down in matches 2-0. Kolat quickly comes out with 5 points in under a minute.
Brings the crowd in the match a little bit, which the U.S. team needs.
Need to keep the Russian off the scoreboard this match.
It'll be very important to not let the Russian score for that team score. Kerry's really looking sharp this match, coming out with a lot of action. Really looks good.
He's tough in the front headlock, and that's what he's in right now. Looks like a stalemate situation, but now they're starting to move a little bit.
Get your head out.
And just like that, Bruce Burnett directs the action. Kerry Kolat, a silver medalist at the World Championships, other than Les Gutches, who won his World Championship in '97. Kolat was the only other U.S. wrestler to win a world medal.
And actually, Kolat reversed that decision here in this World Cup Championship over the Iranian.
He defeated the Iranian opponent who had beaten him in the Worlds, and that was a great match for Kerry. He got caught early in the tournament and pinned by his German opponent when he was leading, and it was his own move. And I think that stung him a little bit and got him going.
That match with the Iranian went the whole entire 8 minutes, and it ended up 1-1, but he won on a Passivities.
So now the Russian in the parterre position, down low. Kolat takes the offensive position. He's got the leg of Yakovlev.
Looking for a leg lace, ankle lace.
Now he's got them both.
And he's going to score.
Got the turn. 6-0 for Kolat.
Really be big for the U.S. if Kolat could get a technical fall here.
Which is a difference of 10 points will get you a technical fall, an extra point on the team score.
Good job, Kerry.
Circling good, moving good. He's tapping. Russian's trying to underhook. He's coming out of it. Did a good job. Nice shot, but he's doing the same situation. He's using that trick knee, and he scored here 5 of his points early, but looks like this time he's either going for a stalemate or just looking for come around for the one. Russian's coming up. It's a little bit dangerous there, but Kolat comes up with another point.
There he goes. Yakovlev finally releases, but Kolat with a takedown. 7-0 now. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go at 138 pounds. Kerry Kolat for the USA in blue, and for Russia in red, Andrei Yakovlev.
Another point.
There it is. You called it. Kolat checks out the score. No, he needs 2 more points for a technical fall. It is 8-0.
Kolat's really come up big here, but Yakovlev doesn't really know what to do because Kolat's scoring on his best technique. So
Kerry is so active.
Countering that single well, using the trick knee, coming around, and he's turned the guy twice there, and now he's ended up with a takedown. So scored 6 of his points off that counter and that single.
Maybe you heard Bruce Burnett in the background. Takedown and a turn. That's all they need for Kerry to get the technical fall. Right now, the Russian is baffled.
Russians are trying to put him on the scoreboard and keep Kolat from getting that tech fall. They're getting on him a little bit. That's Yuri Shakhmaratov. Big point.
Important for Kerry not to get turned here.
Kolat's got that elbow around the Russian's head, but releases.
Keep your right knee up. Right.
Kovalev going for the move that Kolat scored with, cross ankle turn.
Turning right. And the referee stops it. Has them both on their feet.
Minute 15 to get a technical superiority. Put the USA back on the scoreboard there. Heavy.
Important also is to keep that shutout. He can still get the technical fall, but if in a technical fall Russia happens to score, they will get a point as well on the team total.
Kovalev's really going after that score. Kerry's got to get off his heels and get after it here.
Under a minute to go. This match at 138 pounds, 1998 World Cup.
Russian's got more life than they normally has here at the end of the match, but that's because he wants to get on the scoreboard.
He's really working hard.
Kind of taking it, kind of taking a little bit away from Kolat here, because Kolat was being the aggressor, and now that he's moved up a little bit, it's kept us out of that technical superiority position, but we've got to keep the point off the scoreboard.
Actually, that is very true. That's what I was just about to mention, Dan. Even if he does not get the technical fall and Kolat shuts out the Russians will not get a team point. Any point scored by the Russians from here on out in the final 14 seconds will mean a team point, and there's a takedown and 3-point from feet to back. A major 3-point move for Kerry Kolat. A major decision.
Big point.
So Kerry Kolat came up with 5 points in the first 34 seconds. He got a 2-point tilt, one additional for back point, and he goes on to a technical fall win of 11-0. Olympic gold medalist Kendall Cross is the fourth member of our broadcast crew. Let's go over to join him. He's with our winner.
Kerry, you did a great job. It was a fantastic match. You started out early with some nifty techniques to get ahead quick. How'd you feel about the match?
I felt like technically I wrestled a little better this time. Throughout the tournament I've been a little aggressive and trying to beat guys up a little bit, but here I'm a little bit wore down, so I went to technique and panned out good.
So the first U.S. victory tonight in grand fashion. Kerry Kolat with a technical fall, and he ties up the team score with Russia 6-6. We'll be right back to Stillwater and the 1998 World Cup. 52 pounds now on the mat for the USA in blue, Lincoln McElravy. We're going to have to tie Coach Dan Gable down here, I know. His opponent in red, Teimuraz Orusov. And of course, Lincoln, an outstanding wrestler for you at Iowa, Coach.
Oh, he was one of the best, and right now his winning percentage is the best of all time. But he just was in the national finals 4 times and won 3 of those national titles. There he gives up too much position, and hopefully he hasn't got taken down yet. But that's one of the problems. He sometimes starts out a little bit too open, but he seems to be countering well here. But doesn't want to give him both legs. Needs to keep that ankle and keep the guy's head down.
We've seen Lincoln come from behind time or two.
Oh, yeah, we've seen him come from behind, but that's not how we like him to wrestle. We want him to come out immediately and score, and that's what it looks like he might. Well, I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Nope. Still, Russian still got his ankle. Got to keep the weight down. No points.
No
Good
points.
flurry.
Back on their feet.
Good flurry. Lincoln really missed an opportunity there.
Got to keep the weight on the foot. The Russian's trying to... Oh, boy. That's going to be a tight one there.
They called them out of bounds, and so they go back to the middle. Rusov had the leg again.
No points.
We really have a contrast in styles here. Rusov likes to wrestle from a stationary position, and Lincoln really likes to create a lot of motion. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. This is the gold medal match. Whoever wins this wins the gold medal in the individual.
There are team totals and there are individual totals. If the United States wins this duel right here, they win the World Cup. If Russia wins this duel, they win the World Cup.
Rusov doesn't like Lincoln moving him around.
About another 30-40 seconds. If he can keep Russian off the scoreboard, we're going to be in pretty good shape. And that really was a good counter there.
Lincoln McElravy with the first point of the match with 3:20 to go.
Lincoln anticipated that, got his hips out of the way. Nice.
Well, Lincoln's got to be afeared a little bit with the Russians. He just came back from a tournament over there and pretty much dominated winning over there in Krasnoyarsk. So, he's got a reputation now, and that helps as well.
Now, Lincoln went to the World Championships in Krasnoyarsk, Russia, and didn't do what he wanted to do. He went back this year for a major international meet and won.
He was a 3-time NCAA champion, and he's just getting better.
He's doing a good job of countering them leg attacks. He's got to be careful here, pushing in too high. Guys, you never know when a guy could hit you with a quick arm throw or headlock and one of those things. Russian's doing a lot more. Nice. Oh, almost got it there. Nice move. Nice counter
Trying to
action.
get to the back. He did not. He got to 1 point. Russian turn just in time. You take your opponent from your feet directly to their back. It's a 3-point maneuver. That was a 1-point takedown.
Lincoln's really looking good to him so far. It's when he's at his best, when he's taking one technique and then changing it up and going with another one.
He's a little slow on top there. He must feel a little uncomfortable attacking the turning position, but he's looking tough on top.
There's Lincoln's wife, Lisa, son, Streeter.
Yeah.
Lisa's been a great supporter of certainly Lincoln all through the NCAAs and through his heartbreak of the 1 year he lost his national championship there. And came back to win it the next year. Right now, Lincoln McIlravy, the USA in blue with a 2-0 lead on Teimuraz Urusov of Russia in the red.
Controlling the mat position well, keeping the Russian in the zone area most of the time, which is where we want to keep him.
Rusev wasn't able to score on a couple shots. It looks like he's trying to go up and
Nice
body.
double leg and nice lift.
And it's a 1-point takedown. Again, now for Lincoln McIlravy, who has the 3 points needed to end this match in regulation. 3 points must be scored by one wrestler.
Great decisive finish by Lincoln.
A win here would put the USA team ahead of the Russian team.
Right now, the team score is tied at 6-6. After that majority decision win by Kerry Kolat in the previous match at 138, it meant 4 points for the U.S., none for Russia.
Kolat used some great tactics there in the final 11 seconds. It was not only off his shot, but it looked like he was just going to try to win the match by moving around, stalling. Nice move. Could get a fall here. Could get a fall. Could get a fall. I think they called the fall.
There it is.
Yes.
Oh, awesome
Lincoln
move.
McIlravy
Wow.
with the pin with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Takes down Teimuraz Urusov and throws the fist.
Big move for the U.S.
Another 4 points for the United States, 0 points for Russia. You can always count on Lincoln McIlravy to bring drama to a meet. And with 1 minute, 10 seconds left, he gets the pin. Lincoln has made his way over to Kendall Cross. Let's join them now.
That was a great job. What are your plans for the near future?
Well, this is a great stepping stone. I want to win the U.S. Open and make the team for 98. Got the Goodwill Games this year, and my ultimate goal is a world title and Olympic title.
McIlravy's pin gives the United States a first lead of the day. They lead the Russian team 10-6. ESPN coverage of the 1998 World Cup continues right after this. In the 1998 World Cup, 167 pounds for the United States. From Norman, Oklahoma, Dan St. John. He's 3-1 so far in the World Cup action. He wrestled at Arizona State, and he'll be taking on, in the red uniform for Russia, a late fill-in, Alexei Kasiev. Dan St. John has a younger brother, Steve, who was an NCAA champion, actually an NCAA runner-up for Arizona State. Dan, 1997 U.S. Nationals champion.
Way to bang, Dan. Way to bang with it.
I think the Russians thought this Kasiev could compete better than Satiev against St. John because of his size.
Yeah, I'd say so. He looks bigger than
Satiev, had gone in, I think, all the other matches.
right.
World
Just
Cup.
all but one, but he was moving up a weight, like Jim had talked about earlier. He had moved up a weight, and that's quite a bit of jumps between these weights now. So, taking a little time to grow into it.
The United States leads this duel meet 10-6 now at 167 pounds. Kolat came through with a technical fall. Lincoln McIlravy with a pin.
He's trying the gut wrench maneuver right now, and just about had it started there, but not quite good. Using his legs on it, using his legs well.
Now, you take a look at these two guys, and St. John, his 5th match of the 2 days. Kasiev, much the fresher wrestler. Is that going to come into play?
Well, it's happened that way a couple times when we've thrown somebody else is throwing somebody out there. They just all of a sudden they're more ready. So yeah, I could.
I definitely think that is an advantage, especially how tough this tournament's been. There haven't been any easy matches, and a fresh guy does have an advantage.
Already, Russia has improved on last year's
Double leg,
performance.
pull off.
They did not win a match in last year's World Cup against the U.S. They came out with 2 quick victories.
Shot, counter, good action there.
Good
on the
job,
edge.
Dan. Nice reaction.
Kasiev kind of baited him to the edge and then tried to get a shot. Dan countered well.
Kasiev back to the middle, and St. John on their feet.
You're tied up.
St. John's wrestled well this tournament. It's his second major international competition representing the United States, and he had a big win over Iran last night.
Out of bounds, and 1 point scored. They're calling a fleeing of the mat for St. John. Is that it?
That's what they're calling. I don't know if they got confirmed or not. If it is, he's going down.
That is Steve St. John, as we mentioned, the brother of Dan. Looking on. A lot of family members here for the U.S. team.
I think that was a little bit of a questionable call.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think he just had to go that way. I mean, there was not much he could do when the guy had the ankle. So, but anytime something goes out of bounds that fast, they usually call it. I'll see what they call there. No escape.
It's got to be an escape.
They didn't give it. There's
And that's what Josie is looking at right now.
I don't think he's getting some calls in this match.
Yeah, that was another bad call.
Yeah.
It should have been an escape point there.
Boy, and you hear Bruce Burnett, also Josie on the sideline, all the entire coaching staff, and the crowd.
Well, the rest of the country just doesn't know what an escape is. I mean, the rest of the world, excuse me.
The first one, I think, was definitely a point, but I don't think it should have been a point and a caution. It just occurred out of the move. Dan wasn't fleeing the mat. And that definitely was an escape point.
We'll return to Gallagher Iba Arena in just a moment to finish up this match. This is ESPN. Stillwater, Oklahoma. On the mat now at 167 pounds for the United States, Dan St. John in the blue, taking on Alexei Kasiev.
Let's leave him up.
We have just a little over 2 minutes to go in this match. The United States leads in the team score 10-6.
Here's some tactics there by Coach Burnett. He wanted to leave him up instead of putting him down. He saw vulnerability there, and that vulnerability was the guy's getting tired, and he thought he could keep him out of that resting position somewhat. He's working on it. In fact, he's got a nice
St. John gets turned.
That edge of the mat's been hurting St. John. We'll see what happens here. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
No points.
No, one. It's
he waved it off, but now the table officials might be disagreeing.
Not sure what happened there.
Not confirmed. The mat judge gave the point, but the mat chairman didn't confirm it.
That was a good call, actually.
He hesitated over here at the mat chair before he picked that paddle up a little bit, but he decided not to confirm it.
And that brings into play that there are 3 judges here, unlike NCAA wrestling where there's one man in charge of the scoring, and that's a mat referee. There were 3 judges here. 2 of the 3 must agree on the point call for it actually to get on the scoreboard.
Dan's wrestled a good match up to this point, and let's try and get on the board in regulation.
The Russian Alexei Kasiev leads 1-0 with 1:15 to go. A wrestler must score at least 3 points to get a victory in regulation. And St. John let his guard down.
Oh, boy. Yeah, he did. He come up out of position. He had a good stance. He kind of relaxed, stood up, and the guy hit him with a double leg and drove him out of bounds.
1 point for Kasiev. Now 2-0 with 1:05 to go.
Kasiev's a good reshooter. He flurries off actions and then counters off him.
He stays low and he waits for the guy to come up after a little bit of action, and maybe a little experience on Dan's part.
Now St. John.
He's just missing some shots. Yeah. Just missing some shots. With 2 points in the scoreboard, that's good incentive for Kasiev to get one more. But at the same time, we have to tighten our belt a little bit too. St. John.
Now St. John from here. Does he want to turn him from here? No.
He was looking to get around him if he could.
Stalemate called.
That second point was so critical because it gets to 3. The match is.
One he wouldn't have to give up there. He wouldn't have to give up. He
might have been where we're talking about. He might be a little bit tired. His mental fatigue a little bit setting in. You got the fresher Kasiev coming in here, but St. John just let down his guard just for a split second. That's enough for any world-class wrestler to go in.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to let bit and tired, decide his match, but I think just a little bit relaxing there for a second. Too tough a kid, St. John is.
Okay.
Dan's a very tough wrestler. He's got to get a scoring.
Out of bounds with just 1 second to go. It is 2-0 for the Russians. Should We remain at 2-0 here, and we do. Now we go into overtime, a 3-minute overtime period. But, again, Kasiev 1 point away from the victory.
I'd look for Kasiev to go real hard for a score early.
Nice
which
counter.
he did.
Nice counter. Hey, gave it up. Hey, I'll tell you, we're back in this.
There it is, a 1 point
Huge
maneuver
point for the
St.
U.S.
John.
Kasiev, I think, was visibly tired. Going to give it his all for 1 point and try and end it early.
Yeah, he could have did some more action there to counter that, but they decided to give up the 1 point because he knew it wasn't going to end the match, but a gut wrench would.
We are into overtime at 167 pounds. Dan St. John from the USA in blue, Alexei Kasiev in red for Russia.
Good job, Dan.
St. John has clinched the silver medal coming into this match in the individual competition here at the World Cup. And now he wants this match, probably would give up the
Nice
silver
shot,
medal to
nice
get
shot.
this match, and he gets down low.
Coming back.
He's got Kasiev.
Real key point here. Got it.
There it
Good
is.
high crouch by St. John.
2-2 now with 2:15 left in OT.
Doesn't want to get carried away and get reversed here with a ill-advised turn.
The next point for either wrestler will end this match.
He sure has turned the tide on this match.
2 points in overtime for Dan St. John on Alexei Kasiev.
No matter whether Kasiev can pull it together mentally.
Coach
He's
Mike
gotta pull it
MacArthur giving
together.
a little encouragement. Yeah, Kasiev is on his heels. He needs to
React a little better that time, but
Yeah.
let's keep the action. Keep the action flowing to him. There's a
Oh,
nice
he's
shot.
got it. He's got the leg.
He's countering a little bit better.
finish here.
He finishes it.
And St. John finished on Kasiev. Tried to trip.
Stand up.
Got a little
fighting harder.
extended.
And now
Fighting
Kasiev
Wow.
turns on St. John.
The other two he would have gave up. This one he didn't. But he's back in position. He's back in position again.
He's
It's gonna
trying to get both legs.
It looks pretty good.
Dan St. John. Yes.
Oh, no. Bad call. Hey. Okay, they gave it.
They gave it
Good
to
call.
Gave it to
Good
him.
call. Good call.
Gave St. John two. But I think may have been a little premature on the back points, but I think St. John would have definitely scored
Yeah.
the takedown regardless.
With the
Big
2
win
points,
for the
I thought
U.S.
Maybe they scored it against us, but no.
With a minute and 26 seconds left in overtime on the back of Dan St. John's victory over Kasiev. The United States now has a 13-7 lead over Russia. Back to Stillwater in a moment. This is ESPN. 187-pounders on the mat. In the blue, Les Gutches for the United States, and for the red, Alexei Krupnikov. No score.
Krupnikov has a couple losses in this Cup championships, and he's actually keeping Gutches off the scoreboard here. Surprising.
Yeah, Les is having a hard time getting past the tie-up. He's putting so much pressure on Les. So Les tried the arm throw because he's pushing in and leaning, but can't get him overbalanced.
Well, Les got surprised early in the World Cup, losing to a Cuban wrestler, and he has come on and won his other 3 matches, 3-1 coming into this final matchup against the Russians.
Cuban won the gold at this weight, I believe.
And Cubans won the World Cup because he beat the Russian already, and he's done for the tournament. But Les can get the silver with a win here.
Elbow ring.
Yeah, we need a win here.
Well, the United States wrestler has been kept fairly quiet, has Les Gutches in the blue, and Alexei Krupnikov in red has done a good job defending Gutches.
Good job, Les.
What is Les looking for? Was Wes looking for, does he want to go definitive and go for the pin, or being extra careful?
Well, he's just wrestling from the outside quite a bit, and he's just picking and choosing and kind of waiting for the opening, and when it's there, I think he's going to take it. But he's not forcing any action. A guy like McRae, he forces a lot of action. There he's
got the arm trapped. He's in good shape.
Turned him easy. Got a 2-pointer.
Yeah, he did indeed. Les Gutches with 2 points with a minute and 28 to go now in this match. Got the turn on Krupnikov.
Les may have been waiting for that. He may have known he could turn this guy on top. Good trapped arm gut wrench. And this match, I think, is going to be the deciding match in this dual meet tournament. If Les can win this and not let Krupnikov score, the U.S. will definitely win the meet.
Good job.
I'll tell you, it didn't take him much to get that arm. He did a good job of technically
Right.
putting that arm there and then turning right away.
Once
So,
he had the position,
yeah.
it was no problem.
Very good skill.
Nice elbow raise. You get it. Finish the match right here. 3-0.
That's the 5th member of our broadcast crew, Bruce Burnett. One of the coaches on the U.S. team. We got a mic on him.
There's that.
There it is.
Oh, my God.
Boy, what a three-point move. Krupniakov turned that around on Gutches and took Gutches from his feet to his back, and now it's a 3-2 lead for the Russian.
That's a big move.
Oh,
This
that was
really
huge.
cause for concern for the U.S. team.
That's the first time I've seen the Russian do anything spectacular in all the matches, but I can see why he's in the finals of the Junior Worlds a year ago or so.
Gutches
96.
smiling as he comes back to center. Got surprised definitely on that.
He's going to have to get aggressive offensively.
He's got to score here. He's got 38 seconds to score.
Yeah,
that can be tough sometimes.
This is a big change around here. We've got to turn it on a little bit. 30 seconds.
One huge move by this Russian at 187 pounds has now put the heat under the U.S. team.
What do you do here if he get a stall call? I don't know. There it is.
Gutches gets the one. Not yet. Oh, he loses it. Gives up the point. He gave up the ankle, gave up the point, and with 10 seconds to go, that'll just about do it. It's 4-2 for Krupniakov, and a huge turnaround in the final minute.
Yeah, Les went from thinking he had the match won 3-0 when he was finishing that single to really being in tough shape.
He seemed to be kind of looking at the clock too much there instead of worrying about the technical skills right there. I think that was a slide around move, limp leg. And I think if he'd have been paying attention to what he was doing, he could have hung on a little better. It was a big win for the Russians right there.
Les Gutches had a 2-0 lead, but Krupniakov comes up with a 3-point surprise hip toss on the standing world champion. Goes on for a 4-2 victory, and the Russians are creeping up on the Americans. USA still leads 14-10. We'll be back to the World Cup of Wrestling in Stillwater, Oklahoma, right after this. State University in the 1998 World Cup. At 213 pounds, it was standing world champion for Russia, Kuramagomedov, with a victory over J.J. McGrew of the United States. The American built a 2-0 lead, but the Russian came up with 6 straight points to go up 6-3, and that made the team score 15-13. United States had the lead, and so it's all going to come down to the heavyweight matchup. Here's the matchup from the United States. An Oklahoma State alum, he came in 4th at the 97 Worlds, Tom Erickson. And for Russia, a 2-time World Cup champion, he finished 4th at the 96 Olympics, Andrei Shumilin.
I'll tell you, I'd give a lot of courage to Tom on this one because I don't think he was getting ready to wrestle at one time in this meet.
Tom definitely would have liked the U.S. to be ahead, so he didn't have to go out and wrestle, but he's going to go out and give it a try, which is very, very admirable with his injury.
Keep an eye on the left eye of Erickson against the Japanese, in which Erickson won by a pin. The two butted heads twice. They had to stop the match for a couple of minutes. Erickson, possible concussion, feeling a little nauseous in the back, but his team needs him. His team only leads 15-13. The winner of this match will win the World Cup.
Shouldn't have went down there. There he goes. He comes back up. You don't want to go down on the front headlock, but he's down there again. Shumilin's pretty tough here, but Erickson's doing a good job of scrambling.
Great counter by Tom. Good scramble. That gives Tom a little lift in the match.
Well, that might get his blood boiling a little bit too. Get him moving, get him dancing a little bit. Knows he can get away from Shumilin. But that left eye totally closed. He's having to work just to squint.
Well, the U.S. leads 15-13 team score, and conceivably if Tom scores a point in this match and ends up...
Saw what he did.
Now Tom Erickson goes down a little bit unsteady, having trouble staying on his feet.
And he got popped in the eye again on his bad eye.
You're saying here if he ends up losing and scores a team point, it ends up 16-16.
You watch him headbutting and hitting here.
Bruce is a little upset about that.
Let's see if we can hear what Tom
But
has
he's
to say.
getting hit it and smacked it. I understand that.
Burnett walks away with a slap on the side. Doesn't think in his mind there's much question that Erickson is going to go.
Yeah, it's got to be a really painful injury for Tom. But if it ends up tied, dual meet score-wise, the U.S. will win this World Cup tournament. So if Tom can score, it'll be a huge point for the team.
Well, Tom Erickson is going to have to work on instincts as well. He can't see out of one eye, suffering from a possible concussion. He is taken down. 1 point for Shumilin.
That was a nice single and came up with a good finish. I think normally Tom would have probably countered out a little bit more, but
I think he lost contact and the, no pun intended, didn't see that one coming.
Well, you can expect the Russian to attack from that side. Just like a boxer, and you get your eye closed, you can probably guarantee most of the punches are going to come from that blind side.
And Schmielen is a great heavyweight wrestler. Fans might remember he defeated Bruce Baumgartner early in the Olympic Games, and then Bruce came back and defeated him in the bronze medal match. He's been around a long time, bronze medalist in the World Championships. He's traded a couple matches with Tom. Tom pinned him in Iowa City in a dual meet.
yeah, actually about kind of opposite situation. We end up bear hugging him and putting him down. There's a single shot, which is big, and is countered. If we get a point, oh, wow. Close.
Schmielen got out of it.
Yeah, Tom needed to stay down the leg on that one.
The referee determined they were outside the circle. They'll go back to the middle and start. 2 minutes and 23 seconds left in this heavyweight matchup at 286 pounds. Tom Erickson in the blue for the United States, down 1-0 to Andre Schmielen. Erickson unsure whether he would wrestle this match back in the bowels of Gallagher-Iba Arena, suffering from a possible concussion, nausea, bit dizzy, can't see out of that left eye, but he's here.
Tom's going to go for his gut wrench. This is where he can turn Schmielen.
The last time they wrestled in Iowa City, I know that they had to carry Schmielen out of there, and looks to me like this time, that, you know, Tom looks like the beat up one, but at the same time wasn't from the Russian.
Well, Tom didn't go with his gut wrench. He may not have felt comfortable. Maybe a little bit too much wet. Wrestlers are perspiring and getting a little slick.
About 1:50 to go here. Need to put a point on the scoreboard. A lot of courage getting out there, but we still like to see him pull through for us a little bit.
We'll return to Gallagher-Iba Arena in just a moment to finish up this match. This is ESPN.
From 9.
Welcome back to Oklahoma State University as we continue action in the 1998 World Cup. Back to the action on the mat.
It's all down to this.
And Erickson staggering. You mentioned Rocky earlier opening that eye, but now he is looking like Rocky Balboa in the final seconds, trying to clear his head, trying to clear the vision from that left eye as Tom Erickson of the United States.
Well,
just a point by Erickson would seal the win for the United States in the World Cup.
At this point, I don't think Tom can see out of that eye. He's got to have a hard time trying to get some offense going and score.
Calling red passivity again.
Yeah, Tom, he's having a hard time.
So now parterre position for Andre Schmielen. Tom Erickson, the United States, doesn't necessarily need to win this match, just needs to score 1 point for the U.S. to earn the World Cup. 1:44 to go in overtime.
Tom's got his looking on the crotch up here, trying to go a 2-point turn.
Crowd's getting into it, trying to encourage him to pick those hips up and toss him.
And they do stop them again with 1:28 to go. Now, should it go down to a decision, and the Russians get it, the Russians get the 3 points, and the U.S. gets no points, and then Russia would win the World Cup.
1 point by Erickson here would ended up 1-1. We would get the win based on passivities right now. So that's a big point.
Tom's in good position, but he's got to score. He's got to get on that scoreboard.
6 teams came to Stillwater, and now it's down to 1:04 to decide who will win the World Cup.
He's had a couple pretty good singles matches, and I think if he stays with that, he has a chance to score here.
We haven't seen as much action from Tom as we normally would due to his eye, and I think he's got to try and pick up the action, create a flurry, and get a shot.
I'm not so sure I wouldn't have covered that eye coming into this match. As long as he stepped on the mat, I might have wrapped his head and covered that eye because it seems to maybe would have took less focus off it.
Yeah, I think it was open at
Was a shot?
double leg shot there.
Main's doing a good job of countering, but one little let up.
33 seconds to go in the heavyweight.
That time they didn't want to waste the time putting him down. He's on the feet. Here's where Erickson's going to have to do it right now. He's going to have to, final 27 seconds. He needs a takedown. That takedown would seal all the victories. Get him towards the edge. Get him towards the edge. If you get him towards the edge, you never know. You could get an easy point.
The early upset by the Russians, playing big right now. The United States swept the Russian team last year at the World Cup 8-0. Now 6 seconds. Eriksson needs down to go, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I just don't think Tom could get anything going with that injury.
Andrei Shumilin outlasts Tom Eriksson in a heavyweight matchup 1-0, and it be the Russian heavyweight to take the victory. The 3 points for Russia, the none for U.S., and that means Russia comes through with a team victory 16-13 and the winners of the 1998 World Cup here in Stillwater.
Team Russia, that will be Russia.
Jim Shear, where does this leave the USA team?
Well, I think anytime you come to this tournament, beat a good Iranian team with a very young team that we had here, it's still an encouraging tournament for the United States team. Hard to say a loss to the Russian team is encouraging, but we had some good individual performances. We had an injury to Tom Eriksson at heavyweight, and that kind of set us back a little bit. But I think overall the U.S. positioned themselves well. And I think going into Tehran, Iran this summer, it's going to be a very difficult World Championships, but I think this tournament sets us on the right course.
Dan Gable, the Russians are the world champions, now the World Cup champions, returning to the dynasty days.
Well, if they can go into Iran this year and win over there, then I would say, yeah, they're going to be pretty tough. But Iranians showed that they're going to come here, but they were a force. They brought their fans. They're going to have their fans. It's just a matter of the Americans get themselves ready, and if they get themselves ready, they can utilize the Iranian fans and act like they're Americans.
Indeed. It was close, a three-way race for the top, but in the end, it's Russia winning the 1998 World Cup. That'll do it from Stillwater. For Jim Shear and Dan Gable and Kendall Cross, I'm Lon McCarran. For our entire ESPN crew, so long from Oklahoma State. In the sport of wrestling. In the days of the Cold War, the rivalry carried with it political overtones. The eagle versus the bear. After the breakup of the Soviet Union, it became more difficult for the Russians to win as a team, and the sharp edge of the rivalry was softened. Now, however, that rivalry is once again heated in a purely athletic sense. The Russians are the team world champs and recently took the World Cup back from the U.S. Tonight, another chapter will be written from Iowa. It's Russia versus the United States. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarran. Lucky to be working with two gold medal wrestlers from 1984, Jeff Blatnick from 1996, Tom Brands. This is really a key point in the season for both teams to find out where they stand, where the individuals stand on the world scale. Tom, we've got 6 of the USA team members with Iowa connections. You, an assistant coach of University of Iowa. Is this going to help this USA team?
Definitely. These guys are ready to go, and like you know, the Iowa Hawkeye style of wrestling, they're going to keep their back against the wall, and they're going to keep coming at you. So I look for great things from those Hawkeyes.
Now you're sounding like a coach. Jeff Blatnick, we mentioned Russia beat the USA in the World Cup, but it's a new USA lineup here.
Yes, it is. There are 4 number ones on that World Cup team. Gutchis, of course, Tom Eriksson, Kolat, and McElravy. And what the United States team is doing now is they're giving experience to their number 2, number 3, and, of course, promising upstart athletes. The same with the Russians. This isn't their number 1 team all the way through. So a lot of jockeying, a lot of positioning, particularly for the 97 Worlds this coming summer, and more importantly, Sydney in 2000.
Thank you.
We will begin this USA-Russian dual meet at 119 pounds. For the United States, in the blue will be Eric Aiken, his second season on the team. Lives in Coralville, Iowa, 27 years old, went to Iowa State University, taking on Leonid Chuchonov from Russia. He was a bronze medalist at the World Cup, a silver medalist in the 1997 World Cup. Russia in the red and with a big move already.
Right away, got in tight to Aiken, drove him backwards, put him right on his back.
3 points for Leonid Chuchonov of Russia in the red.
And he's got the 5 count. That'll make an additional point there.
And additional 2 points.
Waiting to see it get confirmed.
So far, they've just put 1 up on the scoreboard. But Eric Aiken taken from his feet to his back in the first 15 seconds of this match.
Ankle lace, trying to turn him there. Lots of leverage over Aiken's legs by crossing him like that. Normally he would go into a back bridge or almost a cartwheel to try to get the leverage necessary to force Aiken across.
Head coach Mark Manning, United States team. We have 1 5-minute period and then an overtime period of 3 minutes if needed. There is a minimum of 3 points a wrestler must score to win in regulation, and Chuchanov now has 7.
And he came out fast. Aiken probably trying to feel his way in. Chuchanov just came right out and attacked him, got into the body, drove him backwards to his back. That's a 3-point move. Held him for 5, the additional point. Aiken then rocked to his belly, and Chuchanov again brought him to his back. That's an additional 2. Held him for the 5 count for 1 more. Scores 7-0. There's another takedown, 8-0.
Tom Brands, you certainly have been quite a successful international wrestler. When the early weights on a team gets to this kind of start, 8-0, what does it do to the rest of the guys on the bench?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, it's an individual sport, so you have to keep that in mind. Momentum is a factor, though, but I'll tell you what, if you're focused and you're taking care of business like you should be, then it should not be a factor.
Eric Aiken, one of the 6 men on this USA roster tonight with Iowa connections, went to school at Iowa State. There you see the Russian coaches. Yuri Shakhmaratov was there in the foreground.
Use it now, use it.
Front headlock. Front headlock by Aiken, trying to turn him there, and he had tremendous leverage, but great counter by Chuchanov. Tremendous balance not to lose his base and get rolled across his back, and that was an opportunity for Aiken to start to get back into this match. Oh, and again, beautiful technique. It's what we call the setup in wrestling, how to get your opponent out of position to go ahead and attack him, and you saw him drag that arm all the way by his body, and as Aiken went by, he hooked up onto the ankle, was able to hang onto the ankle, get to a hold, and now he's working an ankle lace again.
He's also working 1 point away from a technical fall, a 10-point differential, and they will call the match a technical fall and give 4 points to the winning team. This is a team competition tonight.
And even in a loss, a wrestler can help his team by at least scoring a point.
Stalemate called by Andrei Romanov. ESPN2's coverage of USA-Russia will return in just a moment from Waterloo, Iowa. And 2 continues its coverage of USA-Russia wrestling from Waterloo, Iowa. A minute and 50 left in this 5-minute period to open our dual meet tonight. USA and Russia. Eric Aiken of the United States in blue. Leonid Chuchanov in red with a 9-0 lead. This weight class, 119 pounds, officially 54 kilos.
Nearly caught a headlock.
Stalemate.
Slip throw. Anytime an offensive wrestler attempts to throw and falls off the opponent in that attempt, it's called a slip. Mark Manning, the University of Northern Iowa head coach, also the team coach for the United States here at this event. Manning actually out of the University of Nebraska, Omaha in his day. Then to North Carolina, then to Oklahoma, and now a head coaching position at Northern Iowa. There's a great opportunity now. There it is.
1 point now for Aiken, and that will mean a team point for the United States.
Well, he certainly doesn't want to give up the technical fall because, again, the point differential for teams would be 4 for the winner, 1 for the loser. But what he'd like to do here is he needs a big move. He needs to try to put Chuchanov on his back. And he's going to have the opportunity now from his feet. Needs something tight. Upper body throw. Shakhmaratov, head coach for Russia.
That was big for a couple of reasons you mentioned in the point differential. If Aiken can keep Chuchanov from a technical fall, that will only give Russia 3 points in the winning column, 1 for the United States instead of 4-0. And no points awarded.
That's going to be 2 for the reversal.
And that will be.
Should be 11-2 now.
Now they're.
I think they might even wave off that as a slip on the gut wrench. We'll see. I'm not sure. They're bringing him up.
All right, it is 11-2.
There are 3 referees, and the 3 must each hold up what they feel the score was, and 2 of the 3 must concur for points to be put up. It is 9-2. They did not give that reversal. But Aiken put himself towards his back there, and he's going to pay the price.
Yeah, they took the 2 points off, 9-2. Now 2 more points. Now it is 11-2. A bit confusing, but just a second left. 0.9. Now they run the clock down. They're going to call that a final?
Clearly a decisive performance by Chuchanov there against Eric Aiken. He dominated from the from the start and was able to capitalize early. And as you said, Tom, score early and hang on.
That's what they're about. You know, you got to be ready when you go out there, especially against the foreigners in international competition. That's what they look for. The American guys, their tendency is to be able to hold up a little longer. So you got to be ready to go. And even if you're not really looking for your scoring holds, ideally you want to look for your scoring holds. But even if you're not, you still watch the slow motion. Here's the hold right here.
That's the first takedown. Took him directly to his back off a drag, kept him there. Able to gain that extra point, and that really gave him the impetus for victory.
But instead of a 4-0 lead, it is a 3-1 lead for Russia. On to 127 in just a moment. Back to Waterloo on ESPN2. Stay with us. They and Russia, international wrestling right here on ESPN2. Earlier at 127 pounds, Mike Mena took on Shamil Umakhanov in the red. It was Mena who came out with a 2-point turn and quickly had Umakhanov down 2-0. But the Russian came back and scored 4 straight points before allowing a single point from Mena late in the match. But it was Shamil Umakhanov in the red with a 4-3 victory over Mike Mena. And that upped the Russian lead in the team score to 6-2.
Turn this guy.
Ready now for the matchup at 138 pounds here from Waterloo, Iowa for the United States in the blue uniform. Troy Steiner, third year on the team from Madison, Wisconsin, wrestled at Iowa. He's 28 years old, taking on Andrei Yakovlev. Most recent result, 4th at the World Cup in Stillwater. 3 minutes and 47 seconds to go.
One way, the other way. Take it.
And there is no score.
Steiner had a passive call against Yakovlev, put him down, nearly turned him there, and is working on him some more. Tom, you've got great experience with Steiner. What you talk about him
This is where Steiner's real tough. You see, he put the leg in, and now he trapped the arm, and that's his best turn.
That's it. Tom Brands with the move.
Two-pointer because it went over the shoulder. He'll get another two-pointer there. Try to hold him now.
And now that's what he's counting off. Referee Betor Sivakov, another point. 3-0 for Troy Steiner. He did not get the points for turning him back over. There is Barry Davis, head coach of Wisconsin. Troy Steiner's a strength coach for that man and his University of Wisconsin Badger wrestling team.
Right away.
Likes what he sees here. Barry Davis, a silver medalist at the 88 Olympics. 3-0 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. United States on top. They have lost the opening 2 matches to Russia. Steiner can get things back on track here with a victory.
Throw the tie. Keep your elbow down.
Jeff, you thought maybe a couple of more points might come because he rolled him twice.
Well, it's the same move. You're only allowed 1 gut wrench, and Troy never broke the lock, so it was the same move. So even though he brought him over again, it doesn't score there, but he did get the 5 count to get the extra point, 3-0. And now it'll be Steiner who is warned for passivity.
Right.
And talk about fair play now. Kovlev has an opportunity to turn Steiner.
Troy Steiner wrestled at Iowa from 90 to 93. He was the 92 champ, and you know him very well, don't you, Tom?
Yes, I do. You'd like to see him do a little more offense, I guess, keep the referee off his back. It looked like Yakovlev is a little bit weak on the mat, and Steiner's tough there, so he needs to utilize where he's good.
And that's where a lot of American wrestlers fall a little bit short, is learning parterre. They feel, hey, I can go even with the world champ, but then when they land on the mat, they get turned once, and that puts the match out of reach.
I would also say that I don't think that was the right call on calling passivity against Steiner. It looked like he was still kind of controlling the match, especially when he's ahead 3-0.
There's his brother Terry Steiner up next at 152 pounds. Twin brothers wrestling here in Waterloo.
But that
Down low.
Nice single there and a good counter. Rubber legged out of that. Have to be very limber to be able to get out of something like that. And he tries it again, but Yakovlev able to hang on to the shoe and gets the 1-point takedown.
3-2 now. United States is Troy Steiner leading Andrei Yakovlev of Russia.
And the best time to score is when you first hit the mat. Don't take your time to set up your turn. Go right into it on the way down. Your opponent is generally thinking about, how did I just get taken down? And Tom, you got to answer this. It looked as though he hit that single twice in a row to Troy's leg, and Troy didn't have an answer for it either time.
Well, the Steiners, like you said, you mentioned the rubber knee, and they tend to rely on that a little bit. And here he is in again. We'll see what he can do with it.
Nothing yet.
I misspoke the score. It is actually 3-1 for Troy Steiner over Yakovlev, and that gives him a little more breathing room as we are now down to 45 seconds left in this match at 138 pounds.
Steiner wants to keep the weight going forward, and he's able to do a good job now. Able to counter out of that. And with the time winding down, that 3 points is huge. This match will end in regulations. Yakovlev needs a 2-point move, 30 seconds left.
And now it is Troy Steiner who goes down and has the inside leg on Yakovlev. There you see the clock ticking down.
Steiner will just hold on. Steiner wants to hang on, kill time, not give up position. He's not in a real good position here yet.
Under 10 seconds now for the first victory for the United States in this USA-Russian dual meet.
And he's going to be able to hang on. Troy's going to do it here. Good match by Steiner.
There it is. Troy Steiner scored early and then hung on. And he comes out victorious over Andrei Yakovlev at 138 pounds. United States with 3 points. They now trail by a score of 7-5 after 3 matches, and a very appreciative crowd here at Waterloo salutes their former University of Iowa wrestler, Troy Steiner. He'll set the table for his twin brother, Terry Steiner, coming up next at 152 pounds. Here's the first 2-point move for Steiner.
Steiner puts the leg in, and this kind of pressure now forces the Russian to defend the leg, and he's going to reach underneath, lock his hands, and in the process traps Yakovlev's left arm. That means he doesn't have a post on that side to defend with, and he's easily turned.
And he did it again, but only got credit for one of the turns. Now here is the 1-point move for Troy Steiner. That was all he needed.
And he was able to hold him there for the 5 count. That's where the 1 point came from.
Troy Steiner is now with Tom Brands.
Troy Steiner, congratulations. Great match. It seemed like turns were working for you. He was in on you a little bit at the end there, and I know you're not happy being a Gable-trained athlete.
No, I mean, no reason when I got a guy down 3-0 that I got to stay on the offense. And I shut down a little bit. There's no excuse for that.
Well, the turns were working for you. Great match, though. Looking forward to seeing you in the U.S. Open.
So Troy Steiner is the winner, and typical wrestler out here in Iowa. He's happy with only the victory, but not the performance. Back to Waterloo in just a moment. Pounds after Troy Steiner's win. We now have his brother Terry Steiner. He too lives in Madison, Wisconsin. Wrestled at the University of Iowa. Takes on Timoraz Rusov, the silver medal at the World Cup. Lost his match to Lincoln McElravy, who had got the gold. And now on the leg is Steiner.
He's going to get it.
Terry Steiner in blue scores the first point of this match at 152. Rusov
another
is
point.
turned. Another point for the American. It is 2-0.
Young wrestlers, did you see the way Terry Steiner motioned, giving ground with that whizzer so that it became basically ineffective, and that's why he eventually was able to turn that single leg into a takedown. And best of all, he kept it going. He didn't take that break to look for a turn. He went right into a turn, got another point. He leads 2-0.
Stalemate called by Steve Knipp. The referees are alternating. We've got 2 U.S. referees, 2 Russian referees.
Now let's see if he learns a lesson from his brother and stays on offense. Do what works for you. Don't let down.
Don't rest your hands on your hand. Don't rest your hands.
To watch the Russians is really unique. I mean, they come out, they're soft, they make contact. There's nothing really explosive about them until they decide to act. And sometimes that's a tough feel. You feel as though, what can you do here? And yet that is the way they wrestle. That is their keen setup. That is what so much, that's why so many of the Americans need the experience against them in order to learn how to wrestle them.
Tom Brands, you were cautioning the Steiners and alerting us that the one problem they have is a slow start, and they come out, both of them come out with quick points. That could be key.
I think they've been working on it. They both look good right now, and Terry's looking pretty good here, even as the match goes on, even after that first 2-point takedown and then the 1-point ankle ace.
These two have met before. Terry Steiner won 2-0.
Well, that is 2-0 right now.
Quick.
2-on-1 by Rusov, trying to work Steiner's upper body, put him out of position, and he'll have the opportunity to put Steiner down with a passivity call, and does.
There is Troy Steiner coming off the first U.S. win
Terry keeping low to the mat now. Watch for a gut wrench here by the Russian. Rusov will try to lift and then drive a knee under like that. Try to rock Steiner over.
Watch the shoulders of Steiner. Did not get them turned, so no points.
And immediately he's looking for a leg lace. Steiner realizing that coming, reaching back, trying to keep him from locking hands.
Steiner having to do it all by feel. He cannot see his opponent at this point. Just trying to keep that wall up. Hang on for the stalemate. And Steve Knipp does give them the stalemate. They'll start from their feet.
Being on bottom is an active position. It isn't present yourself and let him do what he wants and try to stop it. It's being active. Don't give him any position to operate on.
If you're used to NCAA scoring, this is a bit different. 1 point is given for a takedown, reverse, and escape. But there is a 3-point move. If you take your opponent from their feet to their back, it's a 3-point move. There's also a 5-point move if you add a little altitude to that throw.
The big banger, as we say in Greco. And of course, you get a 2-point move when you're on the mat and turn on the mat. You can get either 2 for full exposure, 1 for hand-to-hand exposure.
As we've seen quite a few times already tonight, early in this.
Circle up. Yeah. Hey, turning now. Go clear. Turning. Here. Go clear. Trap on top.
Terry Steiner trying the gut wrench on Urusov. Couldn't do it. Now goes up top to the shoulder.
Ooh. Power Nelson there. If he had the other leg in, he might have been able to extend Urusov, break him down to his stomach, and get the turn. Tremendous crank pressure now on the Russian.
That's what I talked about earlier. This is where both Steiners are real tough.
I had a coach once who says if you can't turn him, hurt him. Make him pay a price for being on the bottom. And that's exactly what Steiner's doing to Urusov now. He didn't score points, but he might have taken a little of the fight out of that Russian with that attempt.
I think Mark Manning, the U.S. coach, is even impressed with Taimur Urusov just being able to hang on down below and not being turned by Terry Steiner. 1 minute and 4 to go. It's a 2-0 USA score, but they do need 3 points to call it a match.
Otherwise, they go into overtime, and we have seen on occasion a wrestler leading 2-0 going into overtime, losing 3-2.
We saw it in the World Cup. Dan St. John came back 4-2 after being down, not scoring any points in regulation.
Seemed Urusov there caught Steiner leading a little bit too much, snapped him off balance twice, but was unable to follow up. Let's see if Steiner now's got it in pure defense. Looks as though he might get hit with a passivity. He does.
So now it'll be Teimuraz Urusov putting Terry Steiner down.
One advantage for Steiner. If he feels himself going, he can go with it and give up a 1-point turn rather than a 2 and save it there. But it looks as though Urusov's going to go for an ankle lace and go for a 2-point move with it. Looks like he's got it hooked up.
Final seconds. Trying to tie it is Urusov. He now has 7 seconds to turn Terry Steiner. Steiner with that left hand.
Great job by Steiner to counter that.
End of regulation. Terry Steiner leads 2-0. And they will go to 3-minute overtime. Back with more from Waterloo in just a moment.
From 1925
here in Waterloo, Iowa, USA and Russia. Referee Steve Knipp starts them on their feet in overtime now. Terry Steiner in the blue for the United States. Teimuraz Urusov in the red for Russia.
It's a good chance now for Steiner to go for a takedown. Urusov spent a lot of energy trying to turn him, came up empty. That's frustration. He's vulnerable at this point.
Terry Steiner very stubborn at the end of regulation, stemming a left hand, avoiding being turned by Urusov. And now into overtime, 1 point is all that Terry Steiner needs to walk away with a second USA victory in a row. But he has a formidable opponent in doing that. Should they not score for the rest of this overtime period, it'll go to a judge's decision. And in most cases, the wrestler who is leading at that point will get the nod.
It seemed as though Urusov was controlling the tempo pretty well there. And again, Steiner is hit with a passive call, his 3rd in this match.
Mark Manning not happy about that. Now his wrestler, Terry Steiner from the U.S. on the bottom in the blue.
That's it.
Again, Rusov trying to get both those legs as he did at the end of regulation, trying.
He's got him. He's got a
get a
lace
turn.
leg hooked up now.
Now can Steiner stem as well as he did with those arms at the end of regulation, but now Rusov's got the feet to drive.
And he did collapse to his elbow.
2 points.
That's going to be a 2-point turn. It's tied. The score is tied, and now suddenly leading 2-0. It's tied, but on the tiebreaker, Rusov has 3 passive calls against Steiner. That would let him win. Steiner needs to score a point if he expects to
Steiner
win.
finds himself down.
And
He missed the
might end it,
opportunity.
right? He might get out of it now.
He's got that leg again. Steiner needs to hang on to a Rusov. No points yet.
What a counter by Steiner.
Amazingly getting to his feet.
Rusov had him cold, and Steiner found a way out. You have to wonder if Rusov let down thinking he had it.
A very aggressive Steiner went for the double leg shot and was caught by a Rusov. An amazingly aggressive performance by Terry Steiner.
And you could see he got nearly taken down right after he got turned. Russian head coach Shakhmaranov watching on, thought he might have had a victory there, but somehow Steiner got out. But again, Rusov in on Steiner's leg. Can he get the takedown? It'll end this bout.
Steiner so confident of his shots. Finally gave out of gas, and that is it.
Do it.
Teimuraz Rusov comes up with a 2-point move. The very aggressive Terry Steiner, not wasting any time, Jeff, took over those single legs, the double legs, particularly in overtime, letting it all hang out. 4-2 win. Russia now leads in the team score 10-6. Ready now for 167-pounders in the blue uniform for the United States will be Darrell Weber, first year on the team. He lives in Iowa City, Iowa, wrestled for the Hawkeyes of the University of Iowa. He's 24 years old, a 3-time All-American. He'll be taking on Alexei Kasiev. He was second at the 1997 Russian Nationals and second at the Euro Junior Tourney in '96.
So Weber's a hometown product here, born and raised in the area. And of course, Kasiev is one of the young Russians who they are looking at prominently, not only for world championships between now and 2000, but really in 2000 at the Olympics.
And this is the kind of training he needs. Go overseas, wrestle the Americans, and he gets beaten down low by Darrell Weber. 1-point move for the American to start the scoring.
It looked as though if he had controlled that while he was in the air, he could have dumped him to his back, but missed that opportunity, but goes up 1-0.
I think he was a little bit tentative there. One thing there, usually Darrell Weber will explode and look for bigger points there. It looked like he's just a little bit tentative.
It's a 10-6 team lead for Russia.
Good job, Weber.
3 points for a victory if the opponents score a point during the individual matches.
No. Don't give up your arm.
And that is the coach's bench of the United States. Brad Penrith and Mark Manning yelling out instructions to their charges.
Arm back.
I want the arm back. You can see how Kasiev is controlling Weber's left arm, and in doing so, it puts Weber totally on the defense.
Russia has won 3 of the 4 matches so far tonight. From Young Arena in Waterloo, Iowa, Lon McCarron along with Jeff Blatnick and Tom Brands bringing you the action here on ESPN2. Back with more from Waterloo in just a moment. Yuri Shakhmaranov, head coach for the Russian team, watches as his young charge, Alexei Kasiev, now with a single leg on Darrell Weber.
Look at Kasiev's back, and his head is up in there. Once it goes down now, Weber needs to scoot, continue move his hips to the outside like that. And he's going to get taken across his back.
A 1-2-point move now for Kasiev. It is a 2-1 lead for Alexei Kasiev of Russia with a minute to go.
2-1 now in favor of the Russians, so this can still go into overtime. Weber needs to focus now on defense on the mat, not give up a turn.
Stalemate called.
If he can get that double leg again and lift his opponent, get Kasiev in the air, he has a chance to end this match right away. Here's the double. If he can come up with it now, needs to come straight up, turn the corner.
2 points for Weber. would give him the required 3 to win the match if he can do it.
Oh, that could be 2 right there.
No, it's only 1.
That could have been 2. He hit on his elbow.
They only gave him 1, and it's tied at 2-2 now with under 30 seconds to go.
Good move by Weber. Had a chance there to possibly put it away.
As a coach, you like to see that. He come right back in and did his best offense. That's his best offense, what you're seeing there.
Maybe the double again. He's been able to get in on Kasia 2 or 3 times.
Certainly has.
And
now
scored twice on it.
Under 20 seconds to go now. Daryl Weber, watch the high crotch shot, watch the double leg. He's been able to do that, as Jeff and Tom mentioned. Trying to go low on Kasiev, the Russian in the red.
Doesn't want to give up something sneaky there, but this is good. You're forcing your opponent to work hard at the end of the match. That's after the whistle. They'll start again in the center.
End of regulation, 5 minutes. It is a 2-2 tie between Daryl Weber of the United States and Alexei Kasiev in red from Russia.
Some great bouts here. Must be a problem with one of the clocks at Matt's side.
Referee Andrei Romanov from Russia watches as Daryl Weber from the United States and Alexei Kasiev begin overtime, tied at 2.
This is when fundamentals mean everything. Good stance, hands inside. Try to control the inside tie so you can set up better shots. And it's going to be Kasiev in on the first threatening shot of overtime.
1 point will win it for either wrestler.
Oh, and a good job of sliding out of it by Weber.
And not looking as though he were fleeing the mat.
He didn't. He got driven out sideways, but he was able to sneak that whizzer in. Good job.
All right, so Weber sneaks out of 1. He again tries to go low.
Needs to be careful backing out. He doesn't want to back out too tall.
But we saw the Steiners very aggressive in overtime. Would expect the same here from Weber.
There it is. He's got a chance again.
Can he take him?
There it is.
There it is, a 1-point move for Daryl Weber. And he, with that, gets his 3rd point. The required 3 points for a match victory. Daryl Weber taking down Alexei Kasiev with 2:08 left to go in overtime, and a 3-2 win for the former University of Iowa wrestler. Here's the winning move by Daryl Weber in the blue.
Weber was able to penetrate on his Russian opponent throughout for double legs, and here, once he's inside, he turned the corner, brought him down. Victory for Daryl Weber.
And Daryl Weber is standing by with our Tom Brands.
Real smart match. Kept going back to your best offense.
Yeah, I knew I could get him with that high crotch that I took him down with, so I tried to stay in good position, stay on him, and just keep on my game plan, take him down that high crotch.
Daryl Weber with a win for the United States, and on his back, the United States pulls within 2. It's Russia 11, USA 9. Mark Manning loves it. Back with more after this. A second division of 167. Each team comes in with an added wrestler. At this weight for the United States, Sean Bormet, second year on the team, Madison, Wisconsin, 24 years old, wrestled for the Badgers. For Russia in the red, Adam Siteyev finished 4th at the most recent World Cup. We pick it up with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go. 3-0 for the United States.
That's a tough one to understand. I could see a slip throw, but that really wasn't a throw. That was an inside trip. So I'm not sure why that wasn't scored a takedown, but the referee blew his whistle and stood them both back up. And Siteyev now is looking for big moves. He's behind 3-0. This match can end in regulation for the Americans, so Siteyev is looking to catch up quick.
There is a 3-point must rule in this international system, and now that could be a 3-point move.
That should be a 3-pointer. It was from the feet to the mat.
Indeed, all agreement with the judges, from the feet to his back, and suddenly, just like that, Adam Siteyev comes up with 3 points after Sean Borman had to work over 2 minutes to get his 3.
Siteyev is a real funky wrestler. What I mean by that is he can score from anywhere, and he's dangerous from anywhere. You don't want to hang with anything.
And now Siteyev with another point. He leads 4-3, 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go.
Siteyev is actually the brother of a 3-time World Olympic champion. He won the Worlds in 96, 95, 94, actually 95, 96, and 97.
Well, Tom, you're a product of a family of wrestling. How important is that?
Well, when you don't have any workout partners and it's 11 o'clock at night and you can't sleep.
Go bang on some bedroom doors.
That's right.
Well, certainly that's very commonplace in the sport of wrestling. Family lines doing well throughout the generations. And a nice
Great
move.
takedown. Exactly what Satiev did to Borman. He returns the favor. We're now tied at 4.
This is turning out to be trading out some big points here. Quite a pace here, Tom. Do you think this could work against the Russian if the United States is in better condition?
Normally I would say yes, but I have watched both Satievs in the past, and they are goers. They aren't the prototype or the prototypical Russian.
And they do call a stalemate. I like the wrestler who can score consistently throughout a match. You saw Satiev come up with a 3-point move. That's all he's produced. So he's had 10 seconds of production, where we've had 3+ minutes for Borman.
Control that.
Certainly it takes a lot more energy when you're going after somebody, especially for a big move like that. Again, it seems as though Bormet there is falling prey to that same position. He's giving him a left underhook, and it seems Satiev likes that right overhook. Really likes to be atop of the arm. Beautiful leg work there.
You got it. He got the turn. 2 points for Satiev. It's now a 6-4 lead for the Russian.
From a coaching point of view there, I would say that Bormet, a little bit more mat awareness, and what I mean by that is he hit the elbow in the last second where he should have went just on the hand, and it would have made the difference between a 1-point turn as opposed to Satiev getting the 2-point turn.
Also, that's called fighting a takedown too long. He knew that he was taken down. Why are you going to give up anything near your back? And that's what he did.
Now Bormet goes low, has the single leg on Satiev.
Great match, back and forth. Let's see if he can count it. Nice job. He might catch him on his back.
He needs control. Bormet needs control, and he got 1 point. He's still down by 1 with 1:04 to go.
He wants to split Satiev's legs. Yeah, he's going to throw it behind. Now he has a chance to gut wrench or ankle lace. He's only got 50 seconds left. He needs a point, otherwise Satiev wins 6-5. He needs to knot it up or go ahead.
Now Borman gets to his feet, and they try. Well, no, didn't go for the ankles. Trying more for the gut. Now they call a stalemate.
I think you're looking at also some inexperience on the mat. It didn't look as though he really had any go-to move there.
Yeah.
And he might feel more comfortable on his feet going for the takedown. He's been successful.
You saw both head coaches. Now there are the 2 men at center circle.
And this is what the Russians like. I got the lead late in the match.
A 6-5 lead for the Russian Adam Satiev. Sean Borman needs 1 to try to get this into overtime.
And Satiev is happy to go upper body. He's killing time, and it seems as though Bormet doesn't have an answer for that upper body tie-up. Needs to go under.
It's an 11-9 team score for the Russians right now. And can Borman get it? Borman is not a position
They're out of bounds there.
10 seconds to go. 10.9 seconds to go.
That was a good attack. He nearly had Satiev there. Needs to do it again quickly.
Satiev blocks his avenue. 3.
Yes, he gets it. That's
he got the 1.
That's a
now
point.
They need agreement. They need agreement from the other judges. It's a 2-point move.
He put his hand back. I'm not sure if they're going to give it.
No, they're going to be 1. The referee on the mat called it 2, but he needs agreement from the other judges. The other officials called it just a single point.
The other officials are both Russian in this case, but it did look as though Satiev put his hands behind him. That could have been construed as a turn.
So it is 6-6 officially as we begin a 3-minute overtime period. In the blue, Sean Bormet for the United States. Adam Satiev, the first wrestler to score a point, will win.
That's going to do it right there.
There it is. There is the 1 point for Adam Satiev. So after a thrilling end to regulation, Sean Borman coming up with what one referee called a 2-point move, knocked down to a single-point move by the Russian judges. 6-6, they finish regulation, and Adam Satiev in the opening minute of overtime comes up with a takedown and wins the match. 7-6, Russia now with a 14-10 team lead in this dual meet from Waterloo, Iowa.
Great move to get back in the match by Bormet. An inside trip, something Satiev used the entire match, but this time the American brings it into overtime. But Satiev able to get a single leg in overtime, got the winning takedown.
And so with a 14-10 Russian lead, we move on to the next weight class. 187 is next. Stay with us. Waterloo, Iowa, USA and Russia. At 187 pounds, John Kading from Evanston, Illinois, out of the University of Oklahoma, his first year on the USA team, took on Alexei Krupniakov, a silver medalist at the World Cup. Krupniakov dominated this match. Kaeding could not get through the defense of the Russian. And it was Krupniakov with a single-point move, two-point moves, and another single-point move for a 6-0 win. Alexei Krupniakov with a win over John Kaeding, shutting him out. And that upped the Russian lead over the United States in this team duel 17-10. At 213 pounds, Dominic Black in the blue uniform for the United States out of the University of West Virginia took on the current world champion at this weight class, Kuramagomedov. And it was the world champ dominating Black, holding off Dominic Black at every turn. And Kuramagomedov scored a 4-1 victory, upping the Russian team lead to 20-11 after the weight class at 213 pounds. Now the heavyweights, 286 pounds for the United States. In the blue, Tolly Thompson, second year on the team out of Lincoln, Nebraska, but he was born in Ames, Iowa, so he's going to have a cheering section, taking Andrei Shumilin. Gold medal at the World Cup this year, also gold medalist 93 and 95 at the World Cup. And he is a huge man. You see him in the red uniform, Shumilin.
He defeated an injured Tom Erickson at the World Cup in overtime by referee's decision.
Get ready to move.
Tolly Thompson, a former NCAA champion. They might call that a slip. And that's what happened. They're going to call that a slip. Shumilin trying a big move there, and Thompson counted out quickly.
You're tied. You're tied. You're tied.
And part of that rule, for those who are wondering about a slip, it's geared towards taking risk. If the referees and the rules are set up that, hey, we want you to be offensive. If you take a big risk and you happen to slip off without your opponent really doing anything to counter, then we're not going to really penalize you for that. And that's what a slip throw was developed from. Thompson doing well here. Looks very focused and strong.
Heavy hand.
Shumilin tends to slow down late in matches. See if the young Buck Thompson here can make a dent in Schmielin's armor.
Shumilin was fourth in the 96 Olympics. Actually, it came down to him and Baumgartner. The winner of the bronze medal match would bring home the most medals for their country, and Bruce Baumgartner came through.
Baumgartner, a legend here in U.S. wrestling. 13 world and Olympic medals, more than anyone else in the history of wrestling at the Olympic Games. Anytime, any country.
Pass it.
There is Tim Newman, the University of Nebraska head coach. Tolly Thompson wrestled for him and was an NCAA champ for Newman in 1995. Looking on with great interest at his former student, former wrestler.
Thompson's been very active with the national team, trying to get international experience and prepare himself for international competition. Shumilin's got loads of it. Oh, that could be right there.
No points called.
Two were given. The table, the chair, and the judge just gave the points. The referee didn't, but the chair and the judge did. Thompson out in front.
ESPN2's coverage of USA-Russia will return in just a moment from Waterloo, Iowa.
From 1920.
The overtime period between Tolly Thompson and Andrei Shumilin. Thompson with a 2-0 lead.
For Thompson, it's sudden death. If he can score now, it's over.
Tim Newman now again has resumed the coaching position for Tolly Thompson.
Again, takedowns are worth 1. Reversals and escapes are worth 1. 2-point turn on the mat. 3 points from your feet to the ground to your back, and 5 points if you do it with a little bit of kaboom. Big high throw.
Tolly Thompson needs just one of those scenarios. 1 point to make it 3-0 in this match.
And he's sucking some wind too. Pushing around this big man Shumilin has certainly got him fatigued as well. This is really going to come up to who can set the other one up and catch him off balance. This is where smarts come in.
Now,
there it is.
It goes down. Oh! Shumilin slips out of it.
And I'd like to see that from Thompson, just because he's not hanging out. I think Thompson would be in a lot better position if he just score and not try to win 2-0 and let the time run out. So he's looking real good to me right now.
He's also controlling the action. They can hit Shumilin with a passivity call now.
I think you're right.
I mean, he dominated that whole minute.
You saw the referee with the red armband saying, move it.
The referee isn't doing his job. The judge and the chair both got a passive call up.
If that's
finally.
They're both winded, and now they are giving Tolly Thompson the option, up or down.
I'm sure they're going to put him down. Thompson would
yeah.
at least like the opportunity to lay on him, even if he isn't going to turn him, lay on him for a few seconds and get a little bit of rest and take some time off the clock.
A minute 35
Clock was a little late in starting there. That'll help the Russian more than Tolly. They're letting him go here. Ellie burned 10, 11 seconds off.
If they do end in a 2-0 situation without the required 3, after this overtime period, it'll be a judge's decision.
Ooh.
1-point move now for Shamilin, close to a 3-point move.
Well, it looks as though this is going to come down to whether Shamilin can get a takedown late.
It is 2-1 for USA's Tolly Thompson over that man, Andre Shamilin, with a minute and 7 seconds to go. Tim Newman, the coach in Nebraska who used to coach Tolly Thompson, looking on.
Tolly just doesn't want to lean on his opponent. You keep your weight on your own feet, and as you said, Tom, you want to move actively. You want to be aggressive. You don't want to sit back because then you do react.
Moving and snapping and exploding, Moving, snapping, and exploding, I think, is his best bet.
And now Shamilin.
He doesn't want to be down there, I know that.
No, he doesn't. He wants to start to come up now.
30 seconds to go.
He'd like to try to come up now. He doesn't want to just sit and hang. Shamilin's going to get that big body working for him now. And Thompson still fighting hard. He's going to get
Tolly
it.
Thompson with the takedown. And the 3rd point. And the win in overtime versus Andre Shamilin. A 3-1 victory for Tolly Thompson. A very appreciative Tim Newman and an entire crowd in Iowa from Waterloo here at Young Arena. A great finish to this exciting USA-Russia dual meet. Tolly Thompson surprising everyone. Most importantly, Andre Shamilin.
Without a doubt, he kept great position throughout the match. And when it went to overtime, even though he gave up the point, he continued to fight hard. And even though he got caught there shooting a single, he was able to maneuver because Shamilin had to score the point. Shamilin has to try to improve here. It's an opportunity for him. And right here, instead of finishing off and keeping the weight on him, he took the weight off to spin. Thompson immediately came up to his feet, turned into his opponent, got the takedown on Shamilin. Big win for Thompson.
Tolly Thompson is now with our Tom Brands.
Great win over an experienced heavyweight. You got to feel good about it.
Yeah, it was good. You know, I just went out and wrestled 7 or 8 minutes hard. That's what you're expected to do every day.
Tolly Thompson with an impressive performance over Andre Shamilin, one of 3 U.S. winners tonight, Daryl Weber and Troy Steiner as well. A young U.S. squad, but an impressive one in places.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a lot of close matches. Certainly somebody like Bormet lost 7-6. He was in the match the entire way against a very experienced Satiev. But, of course, Steiner, Weber, and Thompson, that's the big thing. Tim Newman, of course, Thompson's college coach, celebrating with Tolly's performance. But also the Russians got a good look at their people coming into a small town, an Iowa flavor team with a big Iowa crowd, and they were able to handle that pressure and perform well.
The final team score on this dual match is Russia 21, United States of America 14, and that's going to do it from Waterloo, Iowa, Young Arena. For Tom Brands and for Jeff Blatnick and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for joining us. So long from Waterloo, Iowa.
Next time on Kiana's Flex Appeal, a home gym total body workout that's quick and easy to do. In our Missing Link segment, medicine ball drills for your abs and upper body. In cross training, we'll perform exercises to improve your inline skating. And in Pro Gym, we blast our biceps with a killer arm workout. See you next time on Kiana's Flex Appeal.
Welcome to Florida and Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex in Lake Buena Vista. This is the 1998 U.S. National Wrestling Championship. Open to all wrestlers in the United States, the best in freestyle, Greco, and women have wrestled their way to the finals and are set for the final head-to-head showdown tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarron. Pleased to be working with two Olympic wrestlers from the freestyle world. 1988 Olympic wrestler Jim Shear, and from 1984 Greco champion Jeff Blatnick. First of all, Jim Shear, let's set the stage tonight. How important is this event for the wrestlers here?
Well, this is the premier event in the Olympic wrestling world. These athletes, not only does it crown USA Wrestling's national champion, but it sets the ranking for our world team trials, which selects our world team to compete in our Tehran, Iran later this year. It also sets the rankings for our national team, whereby the athletes are paid a monthly stipend. So this is as important as it gets for these athletes.
Jeff Blatnick, some big and very key matchups tonight. Women, Greco, and freestyle set the stage.
Well, in women's wrestling, which is freestyle, I think the featured matchup will be Christy Stenglein taking on Sandra Bacher. Both of these athletes are world silver medalists, both very good. They both practice judo. Bacher has never lost to Stenglein. Stenglein, the upstart, this could be her time. Looking at men's freestyle, Les Gutchis versus Kevin Jackson. These two have met many times. They have a storied rivalry, usually very close, very tight matches. And in Greco-Roman wrestling, I look at Jim Grunwald versus Dennis Hall. Dennis Hall, a former world champion, silver medalist in Atlanta, but Jim Grunwald has been improving. These two have competed since their youth. Since the very time they got on the mat, it looks as though Grunwald has closed the distance. This should also be a very, very good bout.
Ready to go at 101 pounds for the women. And in the red will be Tricia Saunders from Phoenix, Arizona, wrestling for the Sunkissed Kids, a two-time world champion. She's taken a year off, unranked, because of that year off. She is wrestling in the blue. Julie Gonzalez from Vallejo, wrestling out of the Peninsula Grapplers Club, ranked number 4 in the USA. And Tricia Saunders has been quite a key in the development of women's wrestling for many years. I know both of you are very aware of that.
Well, Trish was the 1998 Woman of the Year for USA Wrestling to recognize her contributions to the sport, but she's been the pioneer.
And a 3-point takedown for Tricia Saunders right off the bat at the beginning of this 5-minute period.
Takedowns are worth a point. Reversals are worth a point. Escapes are worth a point. And if you can take your opponent from their feet directly to their back, it's worth 3. And here she now has 2 for back exposure. If she can hold her opponent in this predicament, in this danger area, for 5 seconds, she'll earn an additional point.
It is 5-0 now, 7-8-0 right now for Tricia Saunders over Julie Gonzalez. Saunders came in with a pin and a technical fall to earn her way to these finals, and she's working on a pin right now, Jeff.
Saunders has tremendous experience. She is probably the most experienced woman wrestler here in the United States. As Jim said, the pioneer for the women in this sport, and certainly that kind of experience is going to help her here in terms of nerves and staying focused at the national finals.
Showing no ill signs of her layoff from the sport, that's for sure.
She took a year off to have her second child. She also had an injured knee, maybe have played a part in that decision. She was just named the USA Wrestling Woman of the Year.
Well, one thing that might help Tricia in her layoff is the fact she's married to Townsend Saunders, Olympic silver medalist in Atlanta, and I'm sure if she ever needed to train, her husband is right there to help her with that.
I think I'd buy a ticket to that one.
Absolutely. Now these two, it's reported, met in the 1994 National Finals. Gonzalez was just about 13 years old.
That is correct, and that was out. Tricia really, dominated that match, and she's tried to get better here, but, Tricia's experience and her overwhelming technical ability has just run up the score. She now wins by technical fall.
Technical fall is at a 10-point differential. Anytime that happens in a match, they do call it. And it is Tricia Saunders, the national champion for the women at 101 pounds with a technical fall, 10 straight points very quickly in under 3 minutes over Julie Gonzalez. And Jim Shear is with our newest national champion, Tricia Saunders.
Trish, great match. You didn't seem like you had much rest on you from your layoff.
Well, I had a little bit of time off. It's been about, I competed in December. It's the last time I competed, but after having my knee redone and having a baby, it was a little time. It took me to get back to where I am now, but I feel like I wrestled pretty well this tournament.
We'll be back to the 1998 U.S. National Wrestling Championships from Lake Buena Vista, Florida in just a moment.
Hey, listen up. I'm the Pounding Patriot. I want you to come out and watch the biggest, baddest, toughest wrestler in town.
Get real. I'm Jim Shear, the Executive Director of USA Wrestling, the national governing body for amateur wrestling in the United States. This year we're celebrating 30 years of national leadership and pride. USA Wrestling offers the best programs and services available, including a wide variety of merchandise and apparel. So let's get real and support amateur wrestling. Call us at 1-800-727-USA1.
Está empatado, Maccarino avanza por el medio campo, pasa para Garbacho que busca un hombre sin marca, buen pase para Leonetti, uy, le cometen falta, brea con la pelota, toca para Pérez, avanza Pérez, la domina y busca el hueco, amaga por izquierda, va por la derecha, viene, amaga por izquierda, otra vez patea y viene, ¡Lo han logrado! ¡Se ganaron la copa!
Collarbone's connected to the neck bone. The neck bone's connected to the backbone. The backbone's connected to the crotch bone. Wrist bone's connected to the hand bone. The hand bone's connected to the two-hand. That's how you slam it down. That's how you slam it down.
Millions may know the story, but only one network can finally bring you the film. Showtime wins my vote for artistic bravery, raves the New York Post, and Time magazine says, a touch of greatness. So don't miss one of the most talked about films of the year, directed by Adrian Lyne. Lolita, the exclusive U.S. premiere, only on Showtime.
Welcome back to Lake Buena Vista, Florida, and the 1998 U.S. National Wrestling Championships. We continue the action.
Earlier at 119 pounds in the men's freestyle division, Sam Henson of Norman, Oklahoma defeated 1996 Olympic team member Lou Roselli of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania in a competitive 3-2 bout to win his first ever national freestyle title.
Time for our matchup at 127 pounds. In the red is Tony Perler from Norman, Oklahoma, wrestling for the Sunkist Kids. Number 2 ranked wrestler at 127, and he is taking on Yaru Washington, 4th ranked wrestler in the USA, wrestling for the Sunkist Kids. It'll be Perler in the red, Washington in the blue.
Perler, a last-minute replacement at the 97 World Championships when Terry... Oh, what a beautiful foot sweep. That should be 3.
That is 3.
What a move.
That was tremendous. That's just where Tony Perler would like to be. Get a guy scrambling, get an underhook or an overhook and catch a leg. Great move. He came a long ways from the World Championships to the World Cup this year, where he also represented the United States. And you could see he closed the gap tremendously on the foreign wrestlers, and I think that'll help him here and in the future.
One thing to look forward to in this match, the last time these two wrestled, Washington won, and the score was 17-14. So there was lots of fingers and points being thrown up on the board there by the referees. And it'll be interesting to see how this match plays out, if it goes back to that wide open style, or if the two start to shut down and because of that experience, really try to limit their opponent. This could be a 2-2 call, 2 for Washington for the initial turn, but Perler held Washington on his back, and that should be a counter.
2-2 or 1-2? 2 points for Perler, and no confirmation on the 2 points for Washington.
There we go.
Yes, it is. 5-2 there.
It is. So 5-2 for Tony Perler in the red. And we look like we're heading for one of those high-scoring matches as they did the last time they met. This is the first final competition, national finals for Washington.
If any of the audience is confused on that scoring, if Washington had been able to smoothly go to his own belly after turning Perler, it would have only been 2 for him. But because Perler held him on his back and forced him to bridge off his back, that is considered a counter. That is why that situation came out with a 2-2 call. Perler doing a great job here. Good defense.
He's wrestling well, but I'm not sure he wants to be there.
Front headlock is tough by Washington. That's his big move. Let's see what he can do with it here. Actually, let it go. Looking for the 1-point takedown now.
I think Tony is going to hold that wrist and look for a tilt here. If he can get his free arm around Euro's back or leg here, he's going to try and get in position for a turn. There it is.
There's the one.
There it is. Great call, Jim. And he's got him caught. Really a hybrid of a roll.
Yeah, and really that's one of the moves that Kendall Cross really perfected and used to win the gold medal in the Olympics. And Tony used it well there. You could see him looking for it.
Oh, he stepped over a wizard. Normally this isn't a good position for a wrestler, but now he's got his leg in. That should help him. And he's applying great leverage now to Washington's shoulders, trying to put him back in the danger position, but the referee's going to stop it.
A minute 54 to go now, and it is an 8-3 advantage for Tony Perler over Yaru Washington. Welcome to the finals, Mr. Washington.
Yeah. Washington's had a good tournament. He's in the USA Wrestling Resident Training Program at the Olympic Training Center. I think that program will really help some of our guys.
Yeah, he has. He's had some good wins. He beat Mike Minna. He beat Chris Boland in the semifinals, did Washington, and he's been very effective and very impressive up to this point.
Perler works out with Sam Henson. Knew each other back in Missouri in high school. Perler also was a runner-up at the U.S. Nationals in Greco-Roman, so he's got some good upper body stuff as well. And really, Greco can help freestyle in terms of learning ties.
It really does. When you're working upper body position, there's nothing like looking out with a Greco-Roman wrestler to get a feel for the positions and learn how to pummel and control the tie-ups. Even though you don't shoot in Greco-Roman, controlling the tie-ups really gives you an opportunity to score.
That's the key in wrestling. You can control the tie and off-balance your opponent. You can score in either style.
Is that the first time a Greco and a freestyle guy have ever agreed on anything like that, Jim Shear? You guys are right on the same page.
I'd like to believe there is a rivalry, and it's good because both styles should be very proud of where they are and where they come from, but they also understand that technique is technique, and learning technique is the goal of any wrestler. So you take what works and discard what doesn't.
We've made peace here in Lake Buena Vista.
Not entirely, but no, Greco-Roman wrestling has really come a long way in the United States. There's so much more depth and so many great competitors now, great coaches. And in the past, the athletes had to have exceptional performances on their own and really work their way to the top. Now, the system is starting to produce the athletes.
And the system, we have to give credit to USA Wrestling. And of course, Jim, you're the executive director, and you treat Greco on the same level as you do freestyle and women's freestyle wrestling, and that is what makes the programs grow. And Greco has really sprouted and grown from that, and it's going to continue to flower.
20 seconds to go. Yaru Washington is down 8-4 to Tony Perler and needs to find something big here in the final seconds.
This is Washington's position, front headlock. Chooses to try to go after the one-point takedown, but Perler gets his hands on his leg and is able to stop him from spinning.
And that's going to do it. And Tony Perler out of Norman, Oklahoma, the second-ranked wrestler at this weight class in the United States, comes through and wins the national championship at 127 pounds by the final score 8-4 over a young and seriously overmatched Yaru Washington, at least in this final match, Jeff.
This is that roll that he used that Jim Shear said was coming, and simply he waited for Washington to spin behind, grabbed that arm, used the leg to lift him high on the back, rolled through, put Washington in the danger position, and this really broke open the match, cruising to victory.
A key move for Tony Perler, and he has joined our Jim Shear.
Tony, congratulations on a very nice win. You seem to control it a little bit better this year. I think you beat him 17-14 last year. Pretty exciting match. Does training with Sam Henson help you quite a bit?
Well, it helps a lot in the sense that his positioning is so much better than mine was, and that's why I was always getting beat. That's why I had 17 or 14 matches. You know, every match I ever wrestled was a shootout, and that's really what I'm concentrating on this year is trying to minimize my mistakes and my over-aggressiveness and improve my position, which is what wins the world title.
Stay with us. We'll return to Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex to continue the 98 Nationals.
When the biggest hazard you face is not having the right club in your bag, you need the Tri-Metal from Orlemar. Longer. The Tri-Metal is the first club in America to use the revolutionary Alpha Miraging metal. Alpha Miraging is 85% harder than pure titanium, causing the ball to explode off your club face. Independent tests prove that Tri-Metal's longer than the leading metal woods on the market. Straighter, precision bulge and roll combined with classic shallow face design give the most responsive gear effect on the market. No club corrects your off-center hits like the Tri-Metal, and the Tri-Metal is over 68% straighter than all clubs tested. No other club has so quickly been embraced by the players on the tour. To receive your free video with more information about the revolutionary Tri-Metal from Orlemar, call the number on your screen.
Call right now and start saving strokes with the Orlemar Tri-Metal, the right size club for you.
It can get a little stressful around here. Luckily, we've got a guy who lightens things up a bit. I like to think of him as our SportsCenter doctor. When Kenny and I return on SportsCenter, we will take a closer look at... After all, laughter is the best medicine.
Welcome back to the 1998 National Wrestling Championships. We've got some Greco action going on in the hall as well. Let's catch you up to date on a little highlight action. And at 119 pounds, in the red is Jeff Cervone, and he took on Sean Sheldon in the blue.
Sheldon capped a strong tournament with a methodical victory and a high-scoring throw to win 9-0, and ironically, it was his 9th national title.
Amazing. Now we move on to 127 pounds, Greco action. We see Dennis Hall from Plover, Wisconsin, the 96 Olympic silver medalist and 95 world champion. He'll be taking on James Grunwald from Colorado Springs, Colorado, the 98 Pan Am champion. He also won the Swedish Cup Grand Prix. This is a rematch of last year's finals.
And it's Hall drawing first blood here. Got great position with double underhooks, kept lifting. Grunwald tried a bailout headlock. Hall able to catch him, drop him to the mat. Now looking for more points. Big high gut wrench there. Hand-to-hand exposure, another 1 point. Now up 2-0. Last year, Grunwald and Hall met in the finals. They've wrestled against each other throughout their entire life. Grunwald held the lead, and with just seconds remaining, Hall hit a big throw to pull the match out. So these two have really battled their whole lives, and now they're battling for the #1 spot in the United States.
I think Dennis is maybe a little bit trying to prove something here. It really looked like he'd lose the match last year and came up with a big move at the end. I think he'd like to control and dominate a little bit.
It was a 5-3 victory for Hall last year. As Jeff mentioned, both from Wisconsin, wrestled in high school.
And Hall is in a great position to be the most decorated Greco-Roman wrestler in the history of the United States. He won a world bronze medal in '94. He became the world champion in '95, and then took a silver medal in the Olympics in '96. And he wins another medal. He has more medals than anyone in U.S. history in Greco-Roman.
Somewhat unfortunate that both these athletes are at the same weight because they're both, I think, capable of winning world medals.
Well, the good thing, though, Jim, is we're seeing that quite often, too. So we're seeing some depth in a lot of the weight classes.
And as we mentioned earlier, the Greco system is getting so much better. And we got world-capable medalists in 2 or 3 deep in each weight. That's really what the old Soviet Union had, and that's where we'd like to be in wrestling in the United States.
Without a doubt, the residence program is helping make that possible. Residence program in both freestyle and Greco-Roman takes developing athletes and gives them the intense training and experience against some of the better athletes and one-on-one coaching to go ahead and improve their skills.
2 minutes and 22 seconds to go in this Greco matchup at 127 pounds. Dennis Hall in the red and James Grunwald in the blue. As we mentioned, a rematch last year. It was Hall using a final second throw to beat Grunwald and win the national title last year. And right now Hall is up 2-0 over Grunwald. And quickly point out, we've been seeing freestyle in Greco pretty much the same attack except of the zone that you can attack. Has to be above the weight.
That is correct. It's just how much of the body can you attack in the two styles. Freestyle's total body attack, where Greco-Roman, your holds are supposed to be from the waist up. But the scoring is exactly the same.
Hall leads 2-0. He in the red, Grunwald in the blue.
Hall had an opportunity to turn Grunwald and get to that 3-point mark where the match can end in regulation, but Grunwald did a great job of countering. He then had a front headlock, but again, Grunwald stopped him. But it is Hall who is carrying the action, controlling the tie, and the position on the mat, and again, Grunwald gets hit with a passivity call.
That's right, Jeff. Dennis was a little passive in the finals last year. He's come out, he's controlling the mat position again, controlling the tie-ups. He's not giving Grunwald a chance to get into his offense and get set.
Seems very, very focused.
Dennis Hall on top.
Oh,
and
there
he does get the turn.
Boy, he caught him really clean there.
2-point move for Dennis Hall. He goes up 4-0 with just about 1 minute and 5 seconds to go.
It was a great gut wrench by Dennis. He relaxed a little bit, kind of feinted to one side, and came back quickly to the other side. Surprised Grunwald.
And again, that is what we call a setup in wrestling. Making your opponent think what you're not going to do.
And Hall now has the minimum number of points to win this match in regulation. You need 3 points at least to win in regulation. He has a 4-0 lead.
I think this is really going to test Jim Grunwald because he's not known as a big lifter and a big thrower. He controls the tie, he wears you out, he grinds you, and he scores, but he scores in small 1 or maybe 2-point moves, and he's going to need a few of those to catch Hall now with a commanding 4-0 lead and all that experience.
Yeah, it'll be difficult, isn't it? I mean, he doesn't have time to wear Dennis down. And Jim's probably the harder worker as there is, and he relies on conditioning.
Oh, and Hall is still taking it to him despite having a 4-0 lead. He's trying to put an exclamation mark on this, not play defense, but continue to attack, and that could hurt him. He doesn't want anything tight with Grunwald.
No, let him go.
But I think he's trying to make a statement to
5-0 now.
He really is. He's trying to establish himself as the dominant wrestler at this weight class, which he has.
He has done so certainly here today at these national championships. Dennis Hall repeats his national finals victory over James Grunwald. Last year it was 5-3. Today a shutout, 5-0.
Hall had an opportunity to turn Grunwald. He faked one way and then hit this beautiful gut wrench, high and arcing, and that puts points on the board, and Hall never looked back.
Dennis Hall, a 5-0 winner over Grunwald, and Dennis Hall is down with Jim Scheer.
Dennis, congratulations on a very dominating win. You came out, you pretty much dominated from the get-go. Last year you kind of had a tight one. Were you trying to make a statement this year?
Yeah, I didn't train last year. That was my statement. I came back, I got hungry, and I wanted to win again. I knew what it's like to be at the top, and it's about time I get back to the top this year.
Dennis Hall is the champion at 127 pounds. We'll be back to Lake Buena Vista, Florida, and continue these 1998 U.S. National Wrestling Championships in just a moment.
Announcing an amazing opportunity from your Nissan retailer. Instead of waiting till the end of the model year, Nissan is clearing out the 98s right now and offering $2,000 customer cash or 0% APR financing on every new 98 Nissan. That's $2,000 or 0% APR on any Nissan, including the luxurious Maxima or the roomy and powerful Altima. This early model year-end clearance is only for a limited time. So for the best selection, visit your Nissan retailer today. These special offers end August 3rd.
RPM tonight, Monday through Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 12 and 8, only on ESPN2.
Here's a look at some earlier results in the women's competition. At 113 pounds, Jackie Berube of Evanston, Illinois, won by technical fall 13-3 over Melissa Sherwood of Granite Bay, California. At 123 pounds, Stephanie Murata of Phoenix, Arizona, repeated as champion with a 6-0 win over Patricia Miranda of Stanford, California. In the 136-pound division, Jimmy Don Hornbuckle of Lawrence, Kansas, defeated Olga Lara of Bailey, California, 4-0. Lauren Wolf of Okemos, Michigan, decisions. Katrina Vernon of Rodeo, California, 3-2 to become the champion at 149 pounds.
Good job, Jim. Ready now for the matchup for the women at 165 pounds. From Colony, New York, Christy Stegline, a two-time world silver medalist. She has dominated the women's wrestling at this weight class. And Sandra Bacher, a silver medalist at the Worlds at 149 pounds. She will be in the blue, Bacher in the blue, Stegline in the red. Bacher got to the finals with 2 pins. Stingline with a pin and a decision.
Stingline hails from Colony, New York, the Albany area of New York, and I happen to have the pleasure of watching her compete in high school wrestling against male athletes, and she held her own very, very well.
Sandra Bacher from San Jose, California, had a knee injury that she's having to work off. USA Wrestling handed out an award to her last night, the USA Women's Wrestler of the Year for Sandra Bacher. 0-0 the score. We've got 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go.
It bodes well for our women's program. We have 2 world finalists in the same weight in the national championships.
Well, certainly it's going to be a much more entertaining, competitive match. Certainly the women's program continuing to grow, continuing to get new athletes into it. They only have 1 dominating athlete per weight, but in this particular weight you have 2 now, and very, very well experienced and certainly possessing great technical skills. 2 points there for Stingline. She now leads 3-0, and you need at least 3 points for the match to end in regulation. Otherwise it goes to overtime, and that's 3 points for yourself. In overtime, if you get to that 3rd point, the match will end. Anything over 3 points, it becomes sudden death from a tie.
Christy Stingline up 3-0 with just about a minute and a half left to go in her match at 165 pounds with Sandra Bacher.
Attempted headlock, slip throw, they'll return to the feet. Rules geared towards offensive action, and that is why the slip throw is in there. Now there, Christy caught her, so she's going to get the point. It wasn't a smooth slip, and the defense held, the counter held, and so she earned the point.
It looks like Sandra's trying to force a little bit of the action to get that points back, and maybe the other players can.
Well, at some point you have to force, I would think.
Well, she's down to a minute now, and losing 4-0. She knows she needs 1 good big move from the feet to put her back in, and she tried that with the headlock. Now being down 4-0, she's going to need a couple of different moves. A 1 big high amplitude throw. That is a 5-point move. If you can curl your opponent in terms of altitude, height, above your own hips and arch them through the air and put them in a danger position on their back, you will score 5. And again, Bacher going to an arm throw, but Stingline able to catch her, but they're not going to allow that. They're going to call it a slip. Bacher got to her knees, and so they return to the standing position.
Referee signals for a point, but he does need agreement from the other officials. Rick LaFerriere, the official on the mat, was overruled. It remains 4-0 with 30 seconds to go in the match at 165 for these 2 champion women wrestlers.
Marcia Hayes, the chairman, who breaks the tie if the referee and judge disagree on the call.
We saw Bacher take a glance at the clock, knowing she needs perhaps some desperate measures in these final 13 seconds. Another slip throw by Stingline. LaFerriere will stop them and put them on their feet.
Stingline now wants to keep distance. She doesn't want to tie up with her opponent so that she has an attempt to throw her. She wants to control the tie. In other words, reach out, tie up an arm so that her opponent can't lock hands.
And she's in pretty good control here. Had 13 seconds left. And if she wins, it'll be a huge victory for her. She has never defeated Sandra Bacher either in judo or wrestling. So this will be a big win.
They'll probably give a point there for that takedown, but now all she needs to do is play good defense. That's going to do it.
And that is the end of the women's match at 165 pounds. Christy Stingline with a 4-1 victory over Sandra Bacher. And Stingline, this 19-year-old, continues to dominate her weight class. She has done that so well for so long. A great victory for Christy Stingline here at the National Championships. We'll continue action in just a moment.
Get back to the sweat, the practice, the determination, the competition, the glory. Injuries happen. It's all part of playing the game. That's why Health South is dedicated to providing the highest quality, most cost-effective care available. We get you back. Health South.
Night, Shannon. Good game.
Hey, thanks, man.
Eggs are crazy. What's on the other one?
like late hits? Then you love NFL Extreme. It's a 5-on-5 gridiron free-for-all. PlayStation. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Season begins September 6th.
Back at Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex, and they tick it down, and Sean Charles, his first time in the finals, defeats Troy Steiner by a score of 4-2 here at 138 pounds, and a big three-point move by Charles early in this matchup, held up, and he's your national champion. Here's how he did it.
Beautiful arm throw. You see him whirl on the arm, got his hips nice and low, gave that little pop, and Steiner had to come over the top, expose it back in the process from the feet to the danger area. Three-point move. Great technique.
4-2 win for Sean Charles. He is down with Jim Shear.
Do you think the experience that you gained on the trip to Iran this winter helped you for this tournament?
Oh, a great deal. I mean, those guys, some of the toughest competition I've been to in my life. I mean, I have nothing but respect for the Iranians and how they train the wrestlers, and definitely helped me to win this match today.
152-pounder is now on the mat. Lincoln McElravy in the red from Iowa City, Iowa. #1 ranked wrestler in the USA, a three-time NCAA champ, taking on Terry Steiner from Madison, Wisconsin, the 5th ranked wrestler in the USA. He too went to Iowa, a 93 NCAA champ. It is McElravy in the red and Steiner in the blue, and these guys were on the same Dan Gable squad at Iowa when they each won an NCAA championship.
McElravy also a three-time NCAA champion, and in his junior year when he came out, he faced Steve Marionetti, who's in the finals tonight in the next weight class up, wound up losing. He could have been Iowa's first four-timer.
And there's the turn for McElravy. A 2-point advantage now for Lincoln McElravy in the red to open the scoring here at 152 pounds.
Big high gut wrench, and those are really key points for Lincoln. He's up on a slow starter, and for him to jump out ahead is very important.
McElravy, defending national champion at this weight class. He defeated Townsend Saunders in the finals last year, and it was Terry Steiner who defeated Townsend Saunders in the semifinals this year to make it here into the championship match.
They both followed a similar path in their wrestling careers. Terry wrestling in North Dakota and Lincoln in South Dakota, and then going to the University of Iowa.
McElravy wrestles for the Gateway 2000. Steiner for Team Excel.
1-point takedown now for McElravy. Has the 3 points required to win the match in regulation. 2 minutes and 53 seconds to go.
And all you young wrestlers, just look at McElravy. He never stops attacking his opponent. He's constantly grabbing something and looking to take advantage of it.
He's got great motion, keeps moving, he's always changing his tags. He can really change his level and get his good low-level attacks. One problem he's had is he let guys get a little deep in his hips every now and then. But he's worked hard on that.
Certainly shows a lot of motion. He doesn't stand and lean in a bound position, as we refer to it. He really likes the motion to create openings, and most of all, to force his opponent to react to his motion. And after a while, it becomes predictable what your opponent will do in terms of reaction. And that's what training's about. It then becomes reflex on what to do.
Now it's Steiner hanging onto the ankle of McElravy.
McElravy wants to stay in bounds. Wants to turn his head in bounds. Well, he's forced out by Steiner there. They can give him a point.
They do give him a point, so...
Ooh, no point. No point given. He never touched the knee. He was still in the tripod position, but I thought going out of bounds under attack like that would earn a point.
Yeah, he might have given the point if he was actually trying to finish the move, but it looked like he was just trying to force him out instead of actually go to a finish. And it was close, a judgment call, but no one. And that was Terry's bread and butter move, that high single.
That might cause a little frustration. That's called being in the red zone and coming away with no points.
Referee Joe Russo actually did signal the point, but he needs collaboration from the mat judges, and he did not get that. So no points were awarded. Still 3-0 for Lincoln McElravy with 1:30 to go in this matchup for the national championship at 152 pounds.
Steiner defeated silver medalist Townsend Saunders from Atlanta to earn a berth in the finals. McElravy really has cruised through this tournament to reach this point.
Perhaps the most dangerous thing I'm seeing in Lincoln McElravy, after having watched him for a couple of years, is the confidence that he is wrestling with. Never thought confidence was too much of a problem for Lincoln, but you can see he's getting better with each match. He's got the skills. He knows he can beat people on an international scene. He won the prestigious Yurigan tournament in Russia this year, and he knows he's a world force.
He used to have that single which made it look like he was sliding into a base in baseball, and he dropped to his backside and turned the corner. It was a semi-duck low single. Haven't seen it yet.
It's one of his best moves, but I think, he practiced that quite a bit in college, and I think that Terry's probably seen that in the practice room and in enough times that Lincoln knows he probably can't get it on.
And it's amazing when you think about Lincoln McElravy and the serious problem he had with concussions 2 years ago when he was a senior for the University of Iowa, missed most of the regular season with concussion problems, had trouble even sitting in a chair. Dan Gable decided there's no way you can wrestle, and finally came back for the national championships, had a huge pad on his forehead to protect that area that was concussed, and he ended up being the NCAA champion for the third time. And he leads now with 9 seconds to go, 3-0.
Ooh, nice.
Another point for Lincoln.
And Lincoln really has a wide variety of techniques, and not many guys have as many scoring moves as he does.
And he had plenty of them here, just enough. Lincoln McElravy, the national champion, again defending his championship at 152 pounds with a 4-0 victory.
McElravy in the top position had an opportunity to turn Steiner, and he throws both legs in, and that buckles Steiner's legs, making it easy to be turned, rolled across his back. Nice technique by McElravy.
Lincoln McElravy successfully defends his title. He's down with Jim Shear.
Lincoln, you had a pretty dominating 4-0 win, but you and Terry both went to the University of Iowa. How did it feel to wrestle a guy that you may have competed with and against in the practice room for so many years in a national title?
Well, we roomed together when I was a freshman. He was a senior. We were great friends, but in this sport, you have to put that to the side at times, and was able to do that, and I'm sure he's able to do it as well. There's a lot on the line here.
All right, we'll be back to continue these national championships from Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Stay with us.
That seem right to you? Beautiful woman alone at a fight?
In the blink of an eye,
Principal is down.
nothing is what it seems.
The girl next to me took something, got shot, ran away.
Not even murder.
Can't hold 14,000 people. 14,000 eyewitnesses.
Nicolas Cage.
You sat down exactly when they wanted you to. Don't miss him with that second shot. Miss two.
Snake Eyes. Friday, August 7th, everywhere.
Play Powerade 98 Draft, and if you go in the first round, it is on. You and a buddy after Disney's Wide World of Sports for the ultimate multi-sport training experience. Living large, larger than large, first round pick large. Other prizes include discounts at Champ Sports and free Powerade. You, a first rounder? Can you imagine?
Hey!
Of course you can.
Can I get the Edge pizza?
Sure. Here you go.
This isn't the Edge pizza. The Edge pizza is the pinnacle of pizza taste. Fresh toppings serenaded by Italian herbs. A sprinkle of Parmesan and Romano cheeses. Savory sauce that sings with superlation. The Edge pizza takes taste to the edge and beyond.
Oh, that Edge pizza.
The Edge Pizza, just $8.99. Only at Pizza Hut. The best pizzas under one roof.
Do you need a Visa credit card? If you can say yes to these minimum requirements, we'll say yes to you. This is a special opportunity to get an unsecured Visa credit card with no security deposit required, even if you've been turned down before and regardless of your past credit history. Almost everyone will be approved for this Visa credit card, so call now. Repeat, if you can say yes to these minimum requirements, we'll say yes to you. Say yes to this limited no-risk offer for an unsecured Visa credit card from Cross Country Bank. Call this toll-free number now.
Welcome back to Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Steve Marinetti with a 6-0 lead over Darrell Weber comes up with a shutout victory At 167 pounds, Marinetti used 3 single-point takedowns and then a big 3-point takedown late in the match.
He controlled the tie all match long, and there he pulled the arm by his head, got behind, and drove Weber directly to his back. 3-pointer, 6-0 win for Marinetti.
We now move on to freestyle action at 187 pounds. It is Les Gutches, 25 years old, from Corvallis, Oregon, the current world champion. He was a bronze medalist at the World Cup, taking on Kevin Jackson, 33 years old, from Gilbert, Arizona, in 1991 and 95. He was both the world champion and national champion, and this is the 4th time these gentlemen have met for the championship in the weight class. Gutches in the red and Kevin Jackson in the blue. Gutches with a 2-0 advantage in the first 5 minutes. You need 3 to win in regulation. Now we're into overtime, and they'll go 3 minutes if neither wrestler scores, or at least if Gutches does not get the 3rd point or a 3-point move for Jackson.
If this match ends with the 2-0 score, Gutches will win. We have seen where going into overtime, the person leading 2-0 loses because his opponent winds up putting 3 points on the board. But if it is tied in overtime, it'll come down to caution calls and passivity calls. And right now, I have a 1 passivity against each wrestler. Jackson is on a shot now, and no tilt there. Gutches tried to tilt him, but Jackson avoided his back, but not there.
2-point red takedown for Les Gutches, and that's going to do it in overtime. A 4-0 victory for Les Gutches, defending his national championship with an impressive victory over Kevin Jackson. And it looks like Kevin Jackson really was just not all there today, Jeff.
Kevin's a great competitor. He's reaching really the end of his career in terms of his physical ability, and I'm not going to count Kevin Jackson out of anything, but you're right, he didn't look all there in this one, but got to give credit to Gutches. He really shut down all of Jackson's attacks. He's the younger of the two. He's the one that's still really in his development stage, and he is doing really, really well. At the end of this match, Jackson takes the shot and does it. Managed to grab Gutches' right leg and pull it in, and Gutches immediately reaches down, locks his hands between Jackson's legs, and there with power tries to lift Jackson over the top. That first one didn't expose Jackson's back, but once Jackson broke down here, beautiful lift right over the top there, and there was enough to break 90 degrees. 2 points for Gutches and that 4-0 victory.
The 96-97 and now 98 U.S. national champion Les Gutches is with Jim Shear.
He won the World Championships last year in Krasnoyarsk, Russia. Not the easiest place to compete. This year you're going to Tehran, Iran. Now you're going to put 2 to back if you win the World Team Trials. If you win the World Team Trials. How do you feel about going back to Tehran?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. Some people may think this is ignorant on my part, but I think if I can win in Siberia, that I can win anywhere. And I just take it as a real challenge. You know, this quadrennium, as you know, it was Krasnoyarsk, then Tehran, and then Istanbul, and 3 pretty unfriendly places. So it's a challenge.
One of the bright stars in the future and present of Les Gutches, a 3-time national champ now. We'll be back to Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex in just a moment.
Coming July 24th, only on pay-per-view, it's Wynonna. She'll rock your world like no one else on earth. From the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando, Florida, the Big Bang Concert Series presents the electrifying Wynonna on stage. You know the legacy. You know the voice. Now experience the excitement of Wynonna's 1998 concert tour in your own home, only on pay-per-view.
A mechanical genius I'm not, so when it comes to taking care of my car, I head to Grand Auto Supply. The parts pros at Grand always give me smart advice, the right part, the right price, whatever it takes. What if every business operated just like Grand?
We got that old part for your washing machine. I'll even show you how to install it. A refund without a receipt? Oh, sure, but I know we can exchange it for the right one. We got it here in stock.
Sure would be great if every business was just like Grand.
Old school.
I've always been old school.
Old school like my shoes. Still current defense. Like Magic.
Magic Johnson.
Old school like Jackie Robinson.
Them bias.
But I might have been given a bad grade.
Old school like my father. What meant they need me mobile agile.
action now from Lake Buena Vista, Florida, and the 1998 U.S. National Wrestling Championships. Melvin Douglas comes up with the victory at 213 pounds on a referee's decision. No points scored at 213 pounds, and Douglas continues to roll in his career. Ready now for the heavyweights in the freestyle division. Tom Erickson wrestling for the Sunkist Kids out of West Lafayette, Indiana. He is the defending champion as your national heavyweight, 96 Pan Am champion, taking on Tolly Thompson from Lincoln, Nebraska, the 98 Pan Am champion, and an NCAA champ for Nebraska in 1995. It is Tom Erickson, defending champion, in red, and Tolly Thompson in the blue. A couple of guys who have found themselves in another wrestler's shadow.
Big throw, Thompson had him.
Erickson down.
He was stuck.
And that's it.
He was stuck. Erickson tried to throw, and Thompson countered him.
Tolly Thompson stuns everybody 20 seconds into this heavyweight matchup and sticks Tom Erickson, the defending champion.
It was a counter. Erickson initiated the move, but Thompson was all over it.
Tolly has really come on this year. He beat the world champion from Cuba. He beat the German who was second in the Worlds and wins here the national title. Another one of the new guys really coming on.
He beat Shamil in Northern Iowa. We got to see that match, and he scored late in the last minute in order to do that. When heavyweights can score points in the last minute, that is when you win championships.
And when is the last time you saw both heavyweights walk off the mat not even breaking a sweat? There you see Tolly Thompson, and it's Tom Erickson who's receiving the silver plaque right now, but Tolly Thompson with a smile. Erickson, I think, certainly a bit embarrassed and certainly also a bit stunned.
Totally unexpected, but he's receiving the award from Art Martori from the Sunkist Kids.
Let's look at this here. Erickson steps under and tries to throw, but Thompson was expecting it, started to step in the direction of the throw, taking the pressure off himself, and then it was just a matter of clamping, and he was able to hold the much larger Tom Erickson on his back and earn the fall. What an upset.
An amazing win for Tolly Thompson, and he's down with Jim Scheer to talk about it.
Tolly, congratulations on a tremendous win. You've had a great year. You beat some of the best wrestlers in the world at heavyweight, but I know you couldn't have expected that this match would be that easy.
No, I didn't. I didn't expect that at all. I just went out there. I was going to wrestle 8 minutes, 5, hopefully, then 8. I'm happy with the outcome.
Well, it looked like he was looking for that throw real early, and he kind of tried to go with the lateral drop, but you were right there to count it.
Yeah, he hit last year in the World Team Trials, the first match. Hit me with that move. I knew it was in there. I knew it was coming. I just got around, thank God, and I put on a little bit of weight, so last year he threw me around like a rag doll.
Well, Tolly, you're an NCAA champion for the University of Nebraska. Have to plug that, fellow alum. But you're looking here to maybe progress and win that world championship at the world level. The World Team Trials coming up.
That's the plan. I want to be a world champ. I want to be an Olympic champ. But I'm going to train every day till I am.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jim.
Well, if you didn't surmise it yet, Jim Scheer is also a graduate of the University of Nebraska. Great win for Tolly Thompson, and we will continue from the 98 Nationals in just a moment.
From 1925 to 1970, one name was synonymous with collegiate wrestling. Today, that same name is synonymous with quality. When it comes to athletic gear and apparel for the wrestler, the name is Cliff King Athletic. Call 1-800-992-0799 and order your catalog today.
If you have hard water and you're using this leading gold deodorant bar, your skin may not be as clean as you think. That's why you need Zest. See, these deodorant soaps combine with the minerals in hard water to leave a soap residue that can coat your skin. But Zest is made to capture those minerals and rinse them clean away. So skin is cleaner, more refreshed. Now that's zestfully clean.
Honestly, I cannot imagine not having athletes around here. They become part of the culture, really.
$4.62, Mr. Sampras.
Sure, they've got their quirks.
Quiet, please.
But like any working relationship, you learn to adjust.
Morning, ESPN.
Welcome back to the 1998 Wrestling National Championships from Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex. Get you up to date on Greco action at 138 pounds. In the red, you see Kevin Bracken. He is taking on Sean Lewis.
In a very physical bout, Lewis and Bracken traded penalty points for brutality, but it was Lewis who wrestled to a skillful 9-1 victory.
At 152 pounds, Chris Saba in the red battled Herb House in the blue.
Saba was dominant in the parterre position, that's wrestling on the mat, and with a pair of gut wrenches, that was the difference in a 5-2 victory.
On to 167 pounds, and we find Matt Lindland in the red taking on Thomas Curtis. They call him TC Dansler.
Well, Matt and TC went into overtime with a 0-0 score, but it was Lindland executing a huge throw to win 3-0.
Now at 187 pounds, still Greco action in the red. Ethan Bosch taking on Dan Niebuhr in the blue.
Niebuhr used a change of direction to score early from his feet, and then again with seconds to go to come away with a 3-0 victory.
Ready to go, Greco-Roman heavyweights. Rulon Gardner from Gilbert, Arizona, the 98 Pan Am champ, the defending champion here at these Nationals, and one of the young guns in Greco-Roman taking on. You remember him? Sure you do. Matt Ghaffari from Cleveland, silver medalist for the Olympics in 96 Pan Am champ, a 4-time World Cup champion. And it is Gardner in the red, Ghaffari in the blue. Matt Ghaffari coming back after quite a layoff.
And Matt had a layoff since the 1996 Olympic Games, but here again we've got the old guard versus the young guns. Matt vacated the spot, but he's coming back, making a statement saying he wants it back.
There was a pretty tough call. Gardner got behind Ghaffari, forced him towards the out of bounds. They went out of bounds with Gardner behind him, but because he really didn't try to finish with some kind of throw or takedown, referee said you were just pushing him, and that was a great opportunity for Gardner to get on the board early.
You never want to miss an opportunity like that, especially against a guy like Matt. Matt's so hard to score on, and you know it's going to be a really tough, close match. Rulon just didn't sit around then when Matt was away. He was a very dominating year last year, the 1998 Greco-Roman Wrestler of the Year for USA Wrestling.
Everyone felt this was going to be Ghaffari's big test, and really Ghaffari shocked a lot of people by entering this tournament. Many felt that he was going to retire, but he's now in there. They both compete for Sunkist Kids. These two know each other pretty well. Gardner's never beaten Ghaffari. Ghaffari's had knee surgery. He's had twins. His wife is expecting again. He's had a lot of things on his plate since the Olympics, and must be tough for him to focus and come back. And Jim, you tried to come back for the 96 games. How difficult is that?
That's really difficult, and not just because you've been away from the sport and the sport keeps progressing, but also because your life changes. You have so many different focuses. I mean, you have a family, you have a job, and Matt's been working. He's got 3 children now and 1 on the way, and it's difficult to maintain that same focus with those outside interests and different interests.
Maybe the more kids you got, the more focus you can get on wrestling.
A little bit. This does have a monetary bonus for winning this tournament.
I'm going to work out, honey.
And Matt, I think one of the key decisions for him is his knees were bad, and I think they started to feel pretty healthy.
And 9 knee operations Ghaffari's had. That is just amazing, and let's hope they got it right this last time.
Rulon Gardner is going to be able to fatigue Ghaffari on his feet, but Matt Ghaffari has tremendous experience on the mat. That was his strength at the Olympic Games, was his ability to turn his opponents, and that's what I think this match is going to come down to. If Gardner can stop Ghaffari from turning him, and Ghaffari's going to get the first crack at it.
I think this was Matt's strategy. Get a caution and try his gut wrench. Dominating gut wrench. If he can get it, he stands a good chance to win the match.
And he worked long and hard. A lot of people look at Matt Ghaffari and said he has done so much for himself from when he first started.
There goes the turn.
And there's the 2-pointer, and Gardner's in the hole now. And this is Ghaffari's strength. He now can sit back and wait. But it is an 8-minute match, and that really will test Matt's endurance level. He has not been pushed so far in this tournament by someone like a Rulon Gardner.
Stay with us. We'll return to Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex to continue the 98 Nationals.
Hey, listen up. I'm the Pounding Patriot. I want you to come out and watch the biggest, baddest, toughest wrestler in town.
Get real. I'm Jim Shear, the Executive Director of USA Wrestling, the national governing body for amateur wrestling in the United States. This year we're celebrating 30 years of national leadership and pride. USA Wrestling offers the best programs and services available, including a wide variety of merchandise and apparel. So let's get real and support amateur wrestling. Call us at 1-800-727-USA1.
Announcing an amazing opportunity from your Nissan retailer. Instead of waiting till the end of the model year, Nissan is clearing out the 98s right now and offering $2,000 customer cash or 0% APR financing on every new 98 Nissan. Why wait for other model year-end sales when you can get $2,000 or 0% APR on any Nissan right now? This early model year-end clearance is only for a limited time. So for the best selection, visit your Nissan retailer today. These special offers end August 3rd.
A minute and 15 seconds to go now in the Greco heavyweights. Matt Ghaffari in the blue with a 2-0 lead over Rulon Gardner. Gardner will have to pick up the pace now here in the final minute.
It's interesting. The University of Nebraska has put out a lot of great heavyweights in the last few years. Rulon Gardner being another. Tolly Thompson, who won the freestyle competition earlier with Tom Erickson, is a heavyweight from Nebraska as well.
Now referee Tony Melosi.
Interesting. They used to talk about whether the passivity calls could interrupt points, and that is now the 5th one against Matt Ghaffari.
Well, with the way the rules are, Matt does not have to do any more than he's doing. He's ahead 2-0, and if Rulon cannot score on him,
at the end of overtime, it'll go to Matt, right? And Matt knows how to play that to its greatest advantage.
There's also a little bit of a big brother factor here. Rulon grew up under Ghaffari being the #1 man at the Sunkist Club, and Ghaffari had always defeated him, and that was a tough situation coming into here. Many surprised by Ghaffari being here, but it was Matt's part-tier experience, his ability to turn with the gut wrench that won him this match.
5 seconds to go, and it looks like Matt Ghaffari's comeback is going to be complete here at these national championships as he defeats Rulon Gardner in overtime 2-0 and has returned to form with a national championship in his first competition since he won the silver medal at the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia.
So there's that gut wrench right there. Matt using great technique, tight hips, and tremendous leg drive to bring that heavyweight across his back and earn the 2 points to victory.
Be interesting to hear what Matt Ghaffari has to say. He is with Jim Shear.
Matt, get to wrestle Rulon again at the World Team Trials, and it looks like tactically in this match and others, you got your caution, you went for your strength, which is the gut wrench. Do you think that he may make some adjustments for the next match?
I think experience always good against the young people. I could turn them and they can't turn me. So my advantage is to score early, and I could pummel better. I'm planning to go to Colorado Springs Residence Program and train for a month. I've been there since April 8th, so I trained only 3 weeks hard, 4 days for this. I've a lot of work at home.
Matt Ghaffari, just one of the heavyweights, providing some fireworks there in the very interesting night of the national championships. Ghaffari was great with a victory after that comeback, and Tolly Thompson with a huge stick there on Tom Erickson, and then the train of Lincoln McElravy keeps right on rolling tonight.
I think we're going to see a lot of Lincoln McElravy. McElravy is one of the young stars, and he continues to improve, and with a legend like Dan Gable, who has trained him and really set a standard for him to follow. I think we're going to see a lot of Lincoln McElravy in the future. But again, Gutchis defeated Jackson. Gutchis reestablishing himself at that weight class, and of course, Thompson over Erickson with that phenomenal stick. That was terrific. Dennis Hall, someone who had a tough time at the World Championships last year. He seems hungry. He really dominated his weight class. And then Tricia Saunders, a 2-time world champion, again won the national tournament here. She'll be hopefully going to the World Championships. She wants to take on a 5-time world champion at the championships later this year, and we want to wish her a lot of luck.
A lot of fresh new faces as national champions here. That is going to do it from Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. For Jim Shear and Jeff Blatnick, I'm Lon McCarron. For our entire crew, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Romero brings his power and personality to Lake Charles, Louisiana for a battle with Tomas Cordova. And power is the operative word. 28 times in 34 bouts he has stopped his opponent, but 2 of the last 3 have gone the distance. And tonight, this Albuquerque bomber wants to reverse that trend and go back to his roots as a slugger.
I'm going to run him over. I'm going to do what I came out to do, and that's to wreck him.
The shores of Lake Charles in Lake Charles, Louisiana for Sunday Night Boxing on ESPN2. We'll see Danny Romero take on Tomas Cordova here at the Lake Charles Civic Center. Well, hi everybody. Welcome inside to the Civic Center here in Lake Charles, where we should have a very entertaining evening of boxing for you. Former flyweight and junior bantamweight champion Danny Romero is back in action. He has had 2 fights since he lost his shootout to Johnny Tapia. He is on the verge of another big match with Tapia, but first tonight he must take on Mexico's Tomas Cordova. Also later on in the show in Ringside Report, we'll bring you not only highlights of Roy Jones Jr.'s victory last night, but also the terrific fight between Carl Thompson and Chris Eubank that many of you saw on ESPN2 last night. Let me bring in my partner, Dave Bontempo, who, as always, I am delighted to be working with. And Dave, this fight for Danny Romero is one of those interesting ones where he is on the verge of another big fight, but he cannot afford to stub his toe against Cordova.
And Al, it's great to be back with you again. That creates pressure for Romero because the negotiations for Johnny Tapia have been extended 1 day. He can't get cut tonight, he can't have a clash of heads, he can't hurt his hand, and he can't lose. So based on that, he would want to come out and try to take care of business right away. These fights are sometimes more dangerous than the big ones.
And for Danny Romero, while that is his concern, a different concern for Tomas Cordova. He's a young man who comes into this bout off his longest layoff. And Dave, when you're coming in off a layoff like that, lots of problems are potential.
He hasn't fought since September. He comes in here as the underdog, but aware, however, that a couple weeks ago on our program, Enrique Sanchez, a champion, came in against an unheralded opponent and really was hard-pressed for a draw. So Cordova's in that spot where he can try to sneak up on Romero. He'll have to deal with ring rust.
All right, so that's in our main event, but before we get to that, we will show you a couple of heavyweights who should provide a very good matchup. Michael Rush against Terrence Lewis. Michael Rush is a 30-year-old who probably has a less imposing reputation than Terrence Lewis, and when you are in that position, Dave, it becomes a big fight for you.
So Rush comes in here, he's a good body puncher, he's got that in his favor, and he goes against an opponent who comes off a win against Darrell Wilson. Remember him? He's the first guy to beat Shannon Briggs back in 1996, so opportunity on the line for both.
All right, you take a look at these 2 heavyweights, and to give you all of their particulars, let's send it into the center of the ring and Mark Biro.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lake Charles Civic Center in Lake Charles, Louisiana, for an evening of all-star professional boxing on the Deuce, ESPN2. Under the promotion of Cedric Kushner Promotions in association with Players Island Casino and Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Matchmakers are Bill Benton and Eric Butcher. Tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Louisiana State Boxing and Wrestling Commission. The chairman, Fielding Lewis. Vice chairman in attendance, Buddy Embonato Jr. Also in attendance, Secretary Treasurer Alvin Topham and Commissioner Buddy Chauvin. This is your first bout of the evening. It is scheduled for 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. Your referee for this event from Destrehan, Louisiana, the elegant Elmo Adolph. Introducing now the principal spurt in the blue corner to my right, wearing the silver trunks with the red trim. He weighs in at 236.5 pounds. His professional record reads 23 victories, 3 defeats, and 17 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Introducing